Gilda, the love goddess Rita Hayworth. Her name sparkles with Hollywood glamour and timeless beauty. But behind that dazzling smile lies a shocking story of exploitation, heartbreak, and a battle against a cruel disease. From seedy Tijuana nightclubs to opulent European palaces, and ultimately to the merciless streets of Los Angeles, we'll strip away the glittering facade. Brace yourself for Rita Hayworth's jaw-dropping true story. It's wilder than any Hollywood script. Early life and career beginnings. Margarita Carmen Cancino was born on October 17, 1918, in Brooklyn, New York. Her father, Eduardo Cancino, was a Spanish dancer, and her mother, Volga Hayworth, was an American showgirl. From a young age, she was immersed in the world of dance, performing with her father in nightclubs. Eduardo's dream was for his daughter to become a professional dancer, and he trained her rigorously. At just 12 years old, she joined her father in a dance act called the Dancing Cancinos. The duo performed in clubs and on stage, impressing audiences with their flamenco routines. By the mid-1930s, Hollywood had taken notice of her talent. In 1935, she signed a contract with Fox Film Corporation, marking the beginning of her journey in the film industry. Initially, she appeared in small roles and dance sequences. Her first film was Dante's Inferno, 1935, where she played a dancer. Despite her limited screen time, her beauty and talent caught the attention of filmmakers. During this period, studio executives suggested a name change to make her more marketable. Thus, Margarita Carmen Cancino became Rita Hayworth, adopting her mother's maiden name. The transformation was not just in name. To fit the Hollywood image, she underwent painful electrolysis to raise her hairline and dyed her naturally dark hair to auburn. These changes were intended to give her a more American look. Her persistence paid off when she landed a role in Only Angels Have Wings, 1939, directed by Howard Hawks. This film was a turning point, showcasing her acting skills and establishing her as a rising star. Rise to stardom. With a new name and a transformed look, Rita Hayworth's career began to soar in the early 1940s. Her role in Only Angels Have Wings, 1939, caught the attention of both audiences and critics. This film was a critical and commercial success, providing her with more significant opportunities in Hollywood. In 1941, she starred in The Strawberry Blonde alongside James Cagney and Olivia de Havilland. The film was a hit, and her performance was praised for its charm and wit. The same year, she appeared in Blood and Sand with Tyrone Power, a film that further cemented her status as a major star. Her role as the seductive Donna Sol was a breakout performance, demonstrating her dramatic range and solidifying her reputation in Hollywood. Her star power continued to rise, and by the mid-1940s, she had become one of Hollywood's most popular actresses. Her famous pinup photo, taken in 1941, became one of the most popular images among American troops during the war. In 1946, she starred in Gilda, a film that would define her career. Her portrayal of the titular character was both alluring and complex, and the scene where she performs Put the Blame on Mame became legendary. The role showcased her as a sultry, sophisticated actress and cemented her status as a Hollywood icon. Despite personal challenges, her career continued to flourish. She starred in The Lady from Shanghai, 1947, directed by Orson Welles. The film was controversial and ahead of its time, featuring her with a striking blonde hairstyle. Although the film was not a commercial success, it has since become a cult classic, admired for its innovative cinematography and complex narrative. By the late 1940s, she was one of the highest-paid actresses in Hollywood. Her films were box office hits, and she had become a cultural icon. However, the pressure to maintain her image and the constant media attention began to take a toll. Wartime efforts and patriotic duties. During World War II, Rita Hayworth, like many Hollywood stars, actively participated in the war effort. This period marked a significant phase in her life and career, distinct from her rise to stardom and later struggles. In 1941, as the United States entered the war, Hayworth began her involvement with the Hollywood Canteen, a club offering food, dancing, and entertainment for servicemen, usually on their way overseas. She volunteered regularly, serving food and dancing with soldiers, boosting morale among the troops. Hayworth also participated in war bond drives. In 1942, she embarked on a tour of several cities, including Chicago, Minneapolis, and Detroit, to promote the sale of war bonds. Her appearances drew large crowds and significantly increased bond sales. During one event in Los Angeles, she auctioned off one of her favorite evening gowns, raising a substantial sum for the war effort. In 1944, Hayworth joined the Hollywood Victory Committee and began participating in USO, United Service Organizations, tours. She traveled to various military bases across the United States, performing for troops and boosting morale. Her shows typically included dance performances and meet-and-greet sessions with servicemen. During this period, Hayworth continued her film career, appearing in movies that provided escapism for war-weary audiences. In You Were Never Lovelier, 1942, she starred opposite Fred Astaire in a romantic comedy. Astaire later praised her as his favorite dance partner, a testament to her incredible talent and dedication. Her performance in Cover Girl, 1944, while not directly about the war, resonated with audiences' dreams of success during difficult times. In 1945, as the war was coming to an end, Hayworth participated in several events celebrating returning troops. She appeared at parades and homecoming celebrations, continuing her role in boosting national morale. Throughout the war years, Hayworth maintained a grueling schedule, balancing her film career with her war effort activities. She often worked 6-day weeks, filming during the day and performing at the Hollywood Canteen or attending bond drives in the evenings. This period also saw changes in Hayworth's personal life. In 1943, she married Orson Welles, and their daughter Rebecca was born in 1944. Balancing her new family life with her career and war effort commitments presented additional challenges. The war years were a time of intense activity and patriotic duty for Hayworth, showcasing her dedication to her country alongside her rising stardom in Hollywood. Struggles behind the glamour. Despite the glittering success, Rita Hayworth's life was fraught with personal and professional struggles. The demands of maintaining her Hollywood image were relentless. She often felt trapped by the glamorous persona created for her, yearning to be seen as a serious actress rather than just a sex symbol. Hayworth's personal life was marked by a series of tumultuous relationships. Her marriage to Orson Welles, which began in 1943, was her second. Although their union was filled with passion, it was also plagued by infidelity and mutual misunderstandings. Welles's dedication to his work often left Hayworth feeling neglected. They divorced in 1947, with Hayworth citing Welles's lack of commitment to the family. In 1949, she married Prince Ali Khan, son of the Aga Khan III, becoming the first Hollywood actress to marry into royalty. The marriage was initially a fairy tale, with lavish parties and a life of luxury. They had a daughter, Princess Yasmin Aga Khan, in 1949. However, the fairy tale soon turned sour. Ali Khan's constant infidelity and the pressures of royal life were overwhelming. They separated in 1951 and divorced in 1953. Hayworth's career also faced challenges. Despite her success, she struggled with being typecast in roles that emphasized her beauty over her acting abilities. Studio head Harry Cohn was notoriously controlling, dictating every aspect of her career and personal life. Cohn's manipulation extended to her finances and professional decisions, leaving her with little control over her destiny. The constant scrutiny and pressure began to take a toll on her mental health. She started drinking heavily, which affected her professional life. Her performance in The Loves of Carmen, 1948, was praised, but behind the scenes, she was battling personal demons. The relentless pace of Hollywood and the expectations placed upon her as a star exacerbated her struggles. Her marriage to singer Dick Haymes in 1953 further complicated her life. Haymes was battling financial troubles and career decline, which only added to Hayworth's stress. Their tumultuous relationship was marred by public altercations and legal issues. Hayworth's attempts to maintain her career while dealing with a failing marriage and personal issues were increasingly difficult. Career challenges and triumphs. The 1950s marked a period of significant upheaval in Rita Hayworth's career. Despite her status as a top Hollywood star, she faced numerous challenges that tested her resilience and determination. The decline of the studio system and changing tastes in the film industry affected her career trajectory. In the early 1950s, Hayworth took a break from Hollywood after her marriage to Prince Ali Khan. The hiatus impacted her career, causing her to lose momentum in a rapidly evolving industry. Upon her return, she struggled to reclaim her former glory. Her first film after the break, Affair in Trinidad, 1952, was intended to capitalize on the success of Gilda, reuniting her with co-star Glenn Ford. While the film performed well at the box office, it failed to recapture the magic of her earlier work. Despite the setbacks, Hayworth continued to work diligently. She starred in Salome, 1953, a biblical epic that showcased her dramatic abilities. The film was a commercial success but received mixed reviews from critics. Her performance was praised, yet she was often overshadowed by the larger-than-life production. In 1957, she attempted a significant comeback with the musical Pal Joey, co-starring Frank Sinatra and Kim Novak. The film was well received, and her performance as the wealthy widow Vera Simpson was lauded. Pal Joey proved that Hayworth still had the talent and charisma to captivate audiences, even as newer stars emerged. Throughout the 1950s, she faced typecasting issues, often being offered roles that emphasized her beauty rather than her acting skills. She sought more substantial parts that would allow her to showcase her range as an actress. In Separate Tables, 1958, she took on a more complex role, portraying a troubled woman in a drama about the residents of a British seaside hotel. The film was a critical success, earning several Academy Award nominations. Her performance was a reminder of her ability to tackle challenging roles with depth and nuance. Despite these triumphs, her career was marred by financial mismanagement and personal struggles. Studio head Harry Cohn's controlling influence extended beyond her professional life, impacting her finances and decisions. After Cohn's death in 1958, she faced numerous legal battles over her contracts and earnings, further complicating her career. In the early 1960s, Hayworth continued to work, though less frequently. She appeared in The Story on Page 1, 1959, directed by Clifford Odets, and The Happy Thieves, 1961, with Rex Harrison. These films, while not as successful as her earlier work, demonstrated her ongoing commitment to her craft. In 1964, she took on a supporting role in Circus World, alongside John Wayne and Claudia Cardinal. The film, while not critically acclaimed, provided Hayworth with a substantial part and showcased her ability to adapt to changing industry dynamics. Her last major film was The Wrath of God, 1972, a Western thriller where she played a supporting role alongside Robert Mitchum. This film marked the end of her nearly 4-decade-long career in Hollywood, a testament to her enduring appeal and talent. Throughout her career, Hayworth appeared in over 60 films, spanning various genres from musicals and romantic comedies to film noir and dramas. Her versatility as an actress, often overshadowed by her image as a glamour icon, was evident in the range of roles she took on over the years. Health struggles. The 1960s brought a new and devastating challenge to Rita Hayworth's life. Her health began to decline in ways that puzzled doctors and those close to her. Initially, the symptoms were subtle. She experienced mood swings, memory lapses, and an overall decline in cognitive abilities. Friends and family attributed these changes to the stress of her career and personal life, but the reality was far more severe. In the early 1960s, she continued to work, although the quality and frequency of her roles diminished. She appeared in The Happy Thieves, 1961, and Circus World, 1964, alongside John Wayne. Despite her efforts, it was clear that something was wrong. She often forgot her lines and struggled to maintain her previous level of performance. The public and the press speculated about the reasons behind her erratic behavior, with many attributing it to her well-documented struggles with alcoholism. By the late 1960s, her condition had worsened significantly. She was frequently disoriented and had difficulty recognizing people she had known for years. Her inability to perform effectively led to fewer job offers, and she withdrew from the public eye. In a desperate attempt to regain control of her life and career, she sought medical advice, but the true nature of her illness remained undiagnosed. In the early 1970s, her daughter, Yasmin Aga Khan, began to take a more active role in her care. Yasmin noticed that her mother's condition was deteriorating rapidly. In 1976, during a highly publicized appearance at a New York gala, she appeared confused and disoriented. This event marked a turning point as it became clear to the world that Hayworth was suffering from more than just the effects of aging or alcohol abuse. It wasn't until 1980 that she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. At the time, Alzheimer's was not well understood, and there were few treatments available. The diagnosis provided some clarity, but it also marked the beginning of a long and painful decline. Her condition continued to worsen, and she required constant care. Yasmin, along with other family members, dedicated themselves to ensuring she received the best possible care. Financial hardships. Rita Hayworth's life was not only marred by health issues, but also significant financial hardships. Despite being one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, she faced numerous financial difficulties throughout her life, many of which stemmed from mismanagement and exploitation by those she trusted. During her peak years, Hayworth earned substantial amounts of money, but much of it was squandered due to poor financial decisions and the manipulative control of people around her. Her first husband, Edward Judson, who was also her manager, had taken significant portions of her earnings. He controlled her finances, making investments that did not always benefit her. After their divorce in 1942, she was left to rebuild her financial stability on her own. The financial strain continued with her subsequent marriages. Prince Ali Khan provided a lavish lifestyle during their marriage, but after their divorce in 1953, Hayworth received little financial support. Her fourth husband, Dick Haymes, compounded her financial woes. Haymes was already struggling with his own career decline and substantial debts. Marrying him led to further financial instability. He was embroiled in legal battles over unpaid debts, and as his wife, Hayworth, was dragged into these issues, which further strained her finances. In the late 1950s, after the death of Columbia Pictures studio head Harry Cohn, who had been a controlling figure in her career, Hayworth faced numerous legal battles over her contracts and earnings. Cohn had exerted significant control over her finances and career decisions, often to her detriment. Without his influence, she had to navigate the complexities of Hollywood contracts and financial management on her own, leading to more challenges. Her financial situation deteriorated further as her career declined. The roles she was offered paid significantly less, and her increasing health issues made it difficult to work consistently. By the 1960s and 1970s, her income had dwindled. Despite the occasional film role or public appearance, she struggled to maintain her previous standard of living. In 1972, she sued her former manager and lawyer, accusing them of mismanaging her finances and failing to provide her with accurate information about her earnings. The lawsuit highlighted the extent of her financial exploitation and the difficulties she faced in managing her wealth. The case was settled out of court, but it did little to alleviate her financial troubles. As her health declined, the cost of medical care and support increased. Her daughter, Yasmin Aga Khan, stepped in to help manage her affairs and provide the necessary care. Yasmin's involvement brought some stability, but the financial burden of caring for someone with Alzheimer's disease was substantial. Later years. As Rita Hayworth's health continued to decline due to Alzheimer's disease, her later years were marked by increasing isolation and a withdrawal from public life. The vibrant, glamorous star who once captivated audiences now faced the harsh realities of a debilitating illness. By the early 1970s, it was evident that her cognitive abilities were deteriorating rapidly. Despite occasional public appearances, her behavior became increasingly erratic and unpredictable. This led to misunderstandings and speculations about her condition. Many attributed her symptoms to alcoholism, unaware of the underlying cause. Her daughter, Yasmin Aga Khan, played a crucial role in providing care and support during these challenging times. Yasmin, recognizing the severity of her mother's condition, took significant steps to ensure she received appropriate medical care. She moved Hayworth to New York, where she could be closer and manage her care more effectively. This period was particularly difficult as the former Hollywood star struggled with the loss of independence and the progressive decline in her mental faculties. In the mid-1970s, Hayworth's public appearances became rare. Her final film, The Wrath of God, 1972, was a Western in which she played a small role. By this time, her ability to memorize lines and perform had significantly diminished. The film marked the end of her illustrious career, and she quietly retired from acting. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Hayworth lived a quiet life, surrounded by close family and caregivers. Yasmin's dedication to her mother's well-being ensured that Hayworth received the best possible care. Despite the challenges, there were moments of peace and comfort. Hayworth's family and friends cherished these times, providing her with love and support. By the early 1980s, her condition had severely progressed. She required constant care and supervision. The once glamorous star, known for her elegance and beauty, now battled the relentless advance of Alzheimer's. The disease took a heavy toll, but her family remained by her side, ensuring she was never alone. Death and immediate aftermath. Rita Hayworth passed away on May 14, 1987, in her New York City apartment. She was 68 years old. The official cause of death was complications from Alzheimer's disease, a condition she had battled for nearly 2 decades. The news of her death was widely reported in the media. Her daughter, Yasmin Aga Khan, made a public statement expressing gratitude for the support they had received during Hayworth's illness. Hayworth's funeral was a private affair, held at the Church of the Good Shepherd in Beverly Hills on May 18, 1987. It was attended by close family and a select group of friends from the entertainment industry. The service was described as simple and dignified, reflecting Hayworth's wishes.
Bye-bye, boys, and I'll be here to,
These Hollywood actresses have been celebrated and admired all through the decades for their work and their contributions to the Hollywood industry. But they all have one thing in common: their striking beauty and amazing curves and bust.
You're presented as a symbol of sex appeal. Now, I wonder if you care to define that phrase, sex appeal.
Sex appeal is a wonderful, warm, womanly, healthy feeling. If you're a woman, it's womanly. If you're not, it's manly.
Does it come from inside, Miss Mansfield?
It comes only from inside. It is nothing that's manufactured. It has nothing to do with measurements or lipstick color. To me, it's cleanliness and youth and an effervescent desire to enjoy life.
Let's talk about some of these stars and their bust sizes, while also noticing the hard work they've put in the industry. Carol Landis, bust size 37. Carol Landis, often known as the chest of Hollywood due to her impressive bust. She was born on January 1, 1919, in Wisconsin. Her journey to stardom began in show business as a chorus girl, but she quickly realized that acting offered more significant opportunities. Her talent and determination propelled her into the world of Hollywood, where she became a notable actress. Carol's career in Hollywood took off as she appeared in several successful films during her brief but impactful career. Some of her most notable films included 1 Million BC, Topper Returns, and I Wake Up Screaming. These movies showcased her acting skills and helped solidify her place in the industry. In addition to her acting career, Carol Landis was also a popular pinup girl. Her stunning looks and charming personality made her a favorite among fans. She even performed as a singer, displaying her versatility and talent beyond acting. Her contribution to entertainment extended to writing as well. She authored a book titled 4 Jills in a Jeep, which recounted her experiences entertaining troops during the Second World War. This book was later adapted into a film, in which she also acted, a rare achievement for actresses of her time. Carol Landis was not just famous for her talent, but also for her beauty. Her bust size earned her the nickname The Chest, and she was widely admired for her glamorous appearance. Her physical beauty, combined with her acting talent, made her a prominent figure in Hollywood. Despite her incredible career and achievements, Carol's life was marked by personal struggles. She faced depression, particularly after learning that her lover, Rex Harrison, was unwilling to leave his wife for her. Tragically, Carol Landis took her own life at the young age of 29. Her untimely demise was a significant loss to Hollywood and her fans. Kim Novak, bust size 37. Kim Novak, born on February 13, 1933 in Chicago, Illinois, began her acting journey in the 1950s. Her rise to stardom was swift, marking her as one of Hollywood's most captivating actresses. Her breakthrough role came with the film Picnic in 1955. Playing the role of Madge Owens, Kim's performance garnered critical acclaim and earned her a Golden Globe nomination. This role showcased her acting prowess and established her as a significant talent in the film industry. The success of Picnic opened doors for Kim, leading to numerous opportunities in high-profile films. One of her most famous roles was in Alfred Hitchcock's 1958 classic Vertigo. In this film, Kim played the dual role of Madeline Elster and Judy Barton. Vertigo is often cited as one of the greatest films ever made, and Kim's performance is a significant reason for its enduring legacy. Her portrayal in Vertigo allowed her to exhibit her beauty and depth as an actress, solidifying her place in Hollywood history. Beyond her acting talent, Kim Novak was also widely admired for her stunning looks, particularly her bust. Kim's figure was a notable aspect of her appeal and often highlighted in her roles and publicity photos. Her bust size contributed to her image as a classic Hollywood bombshell, drawing considerable attention from both fans and the media. In the era when Kim was at her peak, Hollywood placed significant emphasis on physical appearance, and her well-proportioned figure, including her notable bust, played a crucial role in her on-screen persona. Her voluptuous figure was often accentuated by the glamorous and fitted costumes of the time, enhancing her allure and making her a favorite among directors and producers who sought to cast her in roles that required both beauty and talent. Throughout her career, Kim Novak was not only respected for her acting abilities, but also admired for her incredible beauty. She had a unique screen presence that captivated audiences, making her a sought-after actress for a variety of roles. Her filmography includes other notable titles such as Belle, Book and Candle, Pal Joey, and The Man with the Golden Arm. Each of these films contributed to her reputation as a versatile and talented actress. Kim Novak's career spanned several decades, with her last film role being in Liebestraum in 1991. After this, she decided to retire from acting and step away from the limelight. Raquel Welch, bust size 37. Raquel Welch, an iconic American actress, passed away on February 15, 2023. Born on September 5, 1940 in Chicago, she began her career as a model in the 1960s. Her stunning looks and magnetic presence quickly gained her success in the modeling industry, and it wasn't long before she transitioned to acting, where she became a cinematic sex symbol. In 1966, with the film Fantastic Voyage, she was shot into the spotlight. This film catapulted her to stardom, leading to a flood of offers for new roles. Shortly after, she starred in 1 Million Years BC, where her iconic fur bikini became a cultural phenomenon, cementing her status as a Hollywood bombshell. Her role in Bedazzled further showcased her talent and charisma, making her a household name. In addition to her film success, Raquel Welch made memorable appearances on television. She guest-starred in popular TV shows such as Hawaii Five-0 and Seinfeld, demonstrating her versatility and broad appeal. Her TV appearances helped her reach an even wider audience, further solidifying her place in entertainment history. Raquel Welch was not just an actress, she was also known for her talents as a singer and author. In the 1970s, she released a music album that showcased her vocal abilities. Beyond the stage and screen, Raquel authored several books, including her memoirs, where she shared insights into her life and career. Her writings gave fans a deeper look into the woman behind the glamorous image, revealing her intelligence and resilience. Her passing in 2023 marked the end of an era, but she lives on in memories. The industry mourned the loss of a true icon, whose impact on Hollywood and popular culture was profound. Claudia Cardinale, bust size 37. Claudia Cardinale, an Italian actress, was born on April 15, 1938 in Tunis, French Tunisia. She began her acting career in the 1950s, focusing initially on Italian and French films. Her breakthrough role came in 1963 with the film The Leopard, which catapulted her to stardom. That same year, she played herself in Federico Fellini's 8½, solidifying her status as a leading actress. For English-speaking audiences, she is best known for her role as the princess in The Pink Panther. Cardinale's beauty and talent made her a favorite among many of the greatest Italian filmmakers, including Federico Fellini, Luchino Visconti, and Sergio Leone. Her other notable films include Once Upon a Time in the West and Fitzcarraldo. These roles showcased her versatility and depth as an actress, earning her critical acclaim and a dedicated fan base. A significant part of Claudia Cardinale's allure was her stunning figure, particularly her bust size, which was 37 inches. Her curvaceous physique made her an iconic sex symbol of her era. Her bust size, often highlighted in films and publicity photos, added to her glamorous image and contributed to her widespread appeal. In an industry that highly valued physical beauty, Cardinale's figure set her apart, making her one of the most memorable actresses of her time. Throughout her career, Cardinale's beauty and talent were celebrated on an international scale. She worked with some of the most renowned directors and actors, leaving an indelible mark on the film industry. Her performances captivated audiences, and her stunning looks graced countless magazine covers and movie posters, making her an enduring icon of classic cinema. Though she has retired and rarely makes public appearances today, Claudia Cardinale's legacy lives on. Her incredible career continues to inspire actresses and filmmakers. She remains a symbol of timeless beauty and exceptional talent. The contributions she made to film, along with her captivating screen presence, ensure that she will not be forgotten anytime soon. Claudia Cardinale's name is etched in the history of cinema, celebrated for both her remarkable talent and her unforgettable beauty. Elvira. Bust size, 38. Born as Cassandra Peterson on September 17, 1951 in Kansas, Elvira began her career as a go-go dancer, which provided her with inspiration and training for creating one of horror cinema's most iconic characters, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Her acting journey began in the 1970s, appearing in films such as The Working Girls and Crybaby. However, it was Cassandra's creation of Elvira in the early 1980s that catapulted her to stardom and made her a beloved pop culture icon. Originally conceived for a local Los Angeles TV show, Elvira evolved into the wildly popular series Elvira's Movie Macabre. What set Elvira apart was her unique blend of horror, humor, and undeniable sex appeal, a rare combination that captivated audiences. Cassandra Peterson's portrayal of Elvira was both charismatic and unconventional. Elvira became famous not only for her dark and mysterious persona, but also for her playful and humorous demeanor. She broke stereotypes by being a horror character who was simultaneously goofy and incredibly sexy, appealing to a wide audience with her charm and wit. While Cassandra has had other acting roles throughout her career, it is her portrayal of Elvira that remains her most admired work. She continues to delight fans by occasionally reprising her role as Elvira for shows and live performances, keeping the spirit of the character alive for new generations of fans. Also, it helped that she had an amazing figure with an incredible bust. Her appeal on screen was immense. Cassandra Peterson's contribution to horror and pop culture through Elvira has left an indelible mark. Her creation has transcended time, becoming a symbol of empowerment and entertainment in the realm of horror and beyond. As Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Cassandra Peterson has solidified her place in the hearts of fans worldwide, showcasing her talent and creativity in a role that continues to inspire and entertain. Jane Russell. Bust size, 38. Jane Russell's journey to stardom began with a promising start as a model before she ventured into Hollywood in the 1940s. It was mogul Howard Hughes who spotted her potential and cast her in The Outlaw, a film he personally produced, marking her debut on the silver screen. This early collaboration with Hughes set the stage for Russell's rise in Hollywood's glamorous era. However, it was her role in the iconic film Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, where she starred alongside Marilyn Monroe, that truly solidified Jane Russell's status as a star. Her performance not only showcased her acting talent, but also highlighted her sultry looks and mesmerizing voice, which quickly made her a sought-after figure in the entertainment industry. Russell's portrayal as a captivating and confident character in the film resonated with audiences, establishing her as a symbol of interest and charisma. Beyond her achievements in acting, Jane Russell also ventured into music, proving her versatility as an entertainer. She released several successful albums during her career, including memorable hits like Let's Put Out the Lights and Jane Russell Sings, which further showcased her artistic abilities and broadened her appeal. While Russell's era as a sex symbol with one of the most incredible figures and busts in Hollywood's golden age gradually faded after the 1950s, she maintained a steady presence in both cinema and television throughout the subsequent decades. Her ability to transition between different roles and genres demonstrated her longevity and adaptability in a competitive industry. Jane Russell's impact transcended her on-screen persona. She became a role model for aspiring actresses, illustrating perseverance and resilience in an ever-evolving entertainment landscape. And even till today, she continues to inspire generations of performers, with her contributions to both film and music solidifying her place in the annals of Hollywood history. Russell passed away on February 28, 2011, at the age of 89, leaving behind a lasting imprint on the entertainment industry. Sophia Loren, bust size 38. Sophia Loren, an Italian actress of unparalleled talent and beauty, was born on September 20, 1934, in Rome. She began her acting career in the late 1940s, quickly rising to stardom and establishing herself as one of the most iconic actresses of all time. Loren's career is marked by an impressive array of films that showcase her versatility and skill. Some of her most notable films include Two Women, for which she won an Academy Award, Marriage Italian Style, The Millionaires, and many others. Her performances in these films highlight her ability to embody a wide range of characters, from dramatic to comedic roles, making her a standout figure in both Italian and English cinema. One of the factors that set Sophia Loren apart was her stunning beauty, comparable to that of a supermodel. Despite her striking looks, she never allowed her beauty to define her career. Loren was determined to prove her acting chops, taking on challenging roles that required depth and nuance. This determination helped her excel in various genres, from intense dramas to lighthearted comedies, proving her versatility and talent. Throughout her career, Sophia Loren worked with some of the most esteemed directors and actors, further cementing her place in the annals of cinema history. Her ability to deliver powerful performances in multiple languages and across different genres showcased her as a true global star. Loren's contributions to film have been recognized with numerous awards and honors, celebrating her remarkable impact on the industry. Betty Brosmer, bust size 38. Betty Brosmer, born on August 6, 1929 in the United States, emerged as a prominent figure in the realms of bodybuilding, modeling, and authorship during the mid-20th century. While not a traditional actress of old Hollywood, her influence on female figures of her era was profound and enduring. Brosmer's career took off in the 1950s when she entered the modeling scene, quickly gaining fame as a popular pin-up girl. What set her apart was her striking hourglass figure, which became iconic and highly sought after during that period. Her physique not only captivated audiences, but also played a pivotal role in redefining beauty standards of the time. Beyond modeling, Betty Brosmer made significant strides in the male-dominated world of bodybuilding. She was among the first female bodybuilders to emerge and helped pioneer the sport for women. Her dedication and prowess in bodybuilding competitions earned her numerous accolades, solidifying her reputation as a trailblazer in fitness. As her career progressed, Brosmer transitioned into authorship, sharing her insights and expertise through several books focused on health and fitness. Her writings became valuable resources for aspiring athletes and individuals seeking to improve their physical well-being. Today, Betty Brosmer is retired from the spotlight, but continues to be remembered and celebrated for her groundbreaking contributions to bodybuilding and fitness. Anita Ekberg, bust size 40. Anita Ekberg, born on September 29, 1931 in Malmö, Sweden, rose to international fame not only for her acting prowess, but also for her striking beauty and magnetic presence. Starting her career as a successful model, she captured hearts and headlines by winning the prestigious title of Miss Sweden in 1950. Her breakthrough came with the 1955 film La Dolce Vita, directed by Federico Fellini, where she portrayed Sylvia, a glamorous and enchanting starlet. One of the film's most iconic scenes shows her wading through the Trevi Fountain in Rome, dressed elegantly and embodying a blend of allure and confidence that defined her on-screen persona. Throughout her career, Ekberg showcased her acting talents in films across Swedish, Italian, and English cinema. Her roles in movies like Boccaccio's 70 Inches and War and Peace demonstrated her versatility as an actress, combining charm with a commanding presence that left a lasting impression on audiences. Beyond her acting abilities, Anita Ekberg was celebrated for her physical beauty, notably her curvy figure and ample bust size, which became integral to her image as a symbol of sensuality and glamour. Her beautiful appearance and captivating figure made her a favorite subject of photographers and a muse for filmmakers seeking to capture timeless beauty on screen. Anita Ekberg passed away on January 11, 2015, in Italy at the age of 83. Jane Mansfield, bust size 40. Jane Mansfield, originally Vera Jane Palmer, was born on April 19, 1933, in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. Her journey to stardom in the 1950s was swift, propelled by her striking blonde hair and an hourglass figure that became synonymous with Hollywood glamour. Men couldn't help but be captivated by her undeniable sex appeal, which often overshadowed her acting talent, but undoubtedly played a role in her rapid rise to fame. Her breakthrough came with roles in films like The Girl Can't Help It and Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter, where her voluptuous curves and magnetic presence lit up the screen. It was rumored that her sultry image and undeniable allure helped her secure roles and earn favor with directors and producers in the competitive world of Hollywood. Jane Mansfield's 40-inch bust was a central feature of her persona, accentuated by the fashion of the time and often strategically highlighted in her film appearances and publicity shots. Beyond her physical attributes, she possessed a charm and wit that endeared her to audiences and made her a favorite pin-up girl of the era. As she navigated her career, Mansfield faced the double-edged sword of being typecast as a sex symbol. Despite this, she continued to work diligently throughout the 1960s, expanding her repertoire to include comedic and dramatic roles. Her determination to be more than just a pretty face resonated with her fans and critics alike. Tragically, Jane Mansfield's life was cut short in 1967 when she died in a car accident at the age of 34. Her untimely death marked the end of an era for Hollywood, leaving behind her work that went beyond her brief but impactful career. Mae West, bust size 40. Mae West, born Mary Jane West on August 17, 1893 in Brooklyn, New York, was not only an actress but also a playwright, screenwriter, and sex symbol who left an indelible mark on Hollywood. Her career spanned several decades, beginning in vaudeville and later transitioning to Broadway and Hollywood films. West's physical appearance was striking. She had a voluptuous figure with a bust size reported to be around 40 inches, which was accentuated by her hourglass silhouette. Her blonde hair, sultry voice, and confident demeanor made her an immediate sensation on stage and screen. It was West's bold and unapologetic embrace of her sexuality that set her apart in an era when such attitudes were rare and often controversial. Her persona as a confident, sexually liberated woman challenged traditional gender roles and societal norms, making her a cultural icon of female empowerment. In her films, West often played characters who used their beauty and wit to manipulate men and get what they wanted. Her roles were often filled with innuendo and double entendre, which both delighted and scandalized audiences of the time. Directors and producers recognized the allure and box office draw of her provocative image, which helped propel her to stardom. One of West's most famous films, She Done Him Wrong, 1933, solidified her reputation as a major star and helped save Paramount Pictures from bankruptcy during the Great Depression. Without a doubt, Hollywood has its secrets. In the same vein, Hollywood stars have their own secret that they would rather have taken to the grave. However, some of these secrets found their way out and would leave even the most loyal of fans with their jaws open in pure shock and even terror. Some of these Hollywood stars had some twisted fetishes and pleasures that they enjoyed in the privacy of their own homes or secret places. Some of them will shock you, others will send shivers down your spine. On the 16th of February 1945, in the heart of New York City's illustrious theater district, a relatively unknown Vera Ellen took to the stage of the Music Box Theater, premiering in Laughing Room Only. Little did the audience know they were witnessing the ascent of one of Hollywood's most gifted dancers, a woman whose name would become synonymous with unparalleled grace and agility in the annals of dance and cinema. Yet beneath the spotlight and the applause, the story of Vera Ellen remains a mosaic of hidden truths and lesser-known facts, obscured by the shadow of her more celebrated peers. As she pirouetted through the golden age of Hollywood, Vera Ellen not only etched her legacy in the realms of dance and film, but also left behind a trail of intrigue and mysteries, ripe for discovery. Today we delve into the enigmatic world of Vera Ellen, unearthing 8 facts that shed light on the life of a star who dazzled on screen, but whose true story remains as captivating as her performances. a prodigy in motion. In the vast expanse of America's heartland, amidst the hustle and bustle of Cincinnati, Ohio, a future star was quietly taking her first steps towards an extraordinary journey. Born Vera Ellen Westmeyer Rowe on February 16, 1921, she was destined to become one of Hollywood's most celebrated dancers, her name synonymous with grace, beauty, and unmatched talent. Yet the path from a modest Midwestern upbringing to the glitz and glamour of Hollywood was fraught with challenges, determination, and a relentless pursuit of perfection. From an early age, Vera Ellen displayed an innate passion for dance, a passion that her parents, Martin and Alma Rowe, would nurture, leading her to embark on a journey that would take her far from the familiar streets of Cincinnati. By the tender age of 10, Vera Ellen was already making a name for herself, winning local dance competitions and captivating audiences with her natural talent and poise. Her dedication and hard work paid off when she was accepted into the prestigious Hessler Dance Studio in Cincinnati, a testament to her budding talent and the first significant step in her journey to stardom. The years at Hessler were formative for Vera Ellen, honing her skills in a variety of dance styles, from ballet to tap and beyond. It was here that she began to develop the distinctive style that would later become her hallmark in Hollywood. However, Vera Ellen's ambitions extended far beyond the confines of Cincinnati. Driven by a dream to see her name in lights, she made the bold decision to leave home and head to New York City, the epicenter of entertainment, and a place where she believed her dreams could become a reality. Arriving in New York at the age of 18, Vera Ellen's determination quickly paid dividends. She made her Broadway debut in Very Warm for May in 1939, a performance that, while modest, marked the beginning of her ascent in the world of dance and theater. But it was her role in the Broadway hit By Jupiter in 1942 that truly showcased her talents to a wider audience, earning her critical acclaim and setting the stage for her transition from Broadway to the silver screen. The voice that rarely was heard. In an industry where the spoken word often carries as much weight as the physical expression, Vera Ellen's career stands as a testament to the power of movement over voice. Despite her prominence on the silver screen during Hollywood's golden era, her voice was a rare gem, seldom heard in her films. This chapter delves into the enigma of Vera Ellen's vocal silence, exploring the artistic and personal nuances that contributed to this unique aspect of her career. Vera Ellen's transition from Broadway to Hollywood in the early 1940s marked the beginning of a cinematic journey defined by dazzling dance sequences and visual spectacle. However, unlike many of her contemporaries who showcased their talents through both song and dance, Vera Ellen's voice was notably absent from her most iconic performances. This was not due to a lack of talent or versatility, but rather a reflection of the era's cinematic trends and the specific roles she embodied. One of the pivotal moments in this narrative occurred during the production of White Christmas in 1954, a film that remains a beloved classic to this day. Despite being a musical, Vera Ellen's singing parts were dubbed by other artists, a common practice at the time for actors whose vocal strengths were deemed less than their co-stars. This decision by the filmmakers was not a reflection on her abilities, but rather a strategic choice to match the musical style of the film. The reasons behind the dubbing of Vera Ellen's voice in her musical films are multifaceted. Firstly, the studio system often prioritized a uniform sound that could be easily marketed, leading to the employment of professional singers to dub the voices of actors. Secondly, Vera Ellen's primary identity in Hollywood was that of a dancer, and her roles were crafted to highlight her extraordinary talents in ballet, tap, and jazz, often sidelining her vocal performance. Despite the rarity of her voice in films, Vera Ellen's silence speaks volumes about her dedication to her craft. She understood that her strength lay in her ability to convey emotion, narrative, and character through movement. Her performances transcended the need for vocal expression, allowing audiences to focus on the visual poetry of her dance. The decision to let her dance do the talking did not diminish Vera Ellen's impact on Hollywood or her audience. Instead, it solidified her status as a dance icon, a woman whose physical articulation was so powerful that it rendered words unnecessary. Her legacy, therefore, is not one of silence, but of a voice expressed through the universal language of dance, resonating with audiences even in the absence of spoken words. Vera Ellen's choice to focus on dance over voice in her film career is a reminder of the diverse forms of expression in the arts. It challenges the conventional norms of musical cinema and highlights the importance of embracing one's strengths. In Vera Ellen's case, her voice, though rarely heard, was profoundly felt in every step, leap, and twirl, leaving an indelible mark on the history of film and dance. A pioneer of dance styles. Vera Ellen's impact on the dance world transcends her performances. She was instrumental in introducing and popularizing a variety of dance styles to Hollywood's silver screen. Her career, blossoming in the 1940s and extending through the 1950s, was marked by a series of performances that not only showcased her versatility as a dancer, but also her role as a pioneer in the integration of diverse dance forms into cinema. In 1945, Vera Ellen made her Hollywood debut in Wonder Man, a film that allowed her to showcase a range of dance styles from ballet to ballroom. However, it was her subsequent roles that firmly established her as a trailblazer in dance. Her performance in On the Town, 1949, alongside Gene Kelly and Frank Sinatra, is particularly notable. In this film, Vera Ellen brought a blend of balletic grace and modern dance energy to the big screen, contributing to one of the first movie musicals to be shot on location in New York City. This approach not only highlighted her dance skills, but also demonstrated how dance could be integrated into the narrative, enhancing the realism and dynamism of the film. Another landmark in her career was The Belle of New York, 1952, where she starred opposite Fred Astaire. In this film, Vera Ellen and Astaire performed a series of complex dance numbers that incorporated elements of jazz and tap, showcasing her ability to adapt and excel across different dance genres. Their performance in the Seeing's Believing number is often cited as a masterpiece of cinematic dance, featuring a blend of technical precision and effortless charm that has become emblematic of Vera Ellen's legacy. Beyond her versatility, Vera Ellen was known for her rigorous dedication to her craft. Her commitment to perfection and her relentless pursuit of innovation in dance left a lasting impact on her peers and the generations that followed. Dancers and choreographers in Hollywood and beyond have cited her influence in their work, noting her contributions to the evolution of dance and film. Vera Ellen's pioneering role in dance was not limited to her on-screen performances. Behind the scenes, she worked closely with choreographers, including the legendary Robert Alton, to craft sequences that pushed the boundaries of what was possible in film dance. Her collaboration with these choreographers not only highlighted her skills, but also her creative vision, making her an integral part of the choreographic process. Through her films, Vera Ellen introduced audiences worldwide to a fusion of dance styles, from the classical elegance of ballet to the vibrant rhythms of jazz and tap. Her work helped to broaden the scope of dance in cinema, making it more accessible and engaging for audiences and inspiring a new generation of dancers and choreographers. Vera Ellen's contributions to dance in Hollywood were marked by a series of firsts. She was among the first to blend classical ballet with modern dance in a cinematic context, and her performances helped to elevate dance from mere entertainment to an essential storytelling tool in film. Her legacy, therefore, is not just in the roles she played, but in her enduring influence on the art of dance in cinema, an influence that continues to resonate in the industry today. The secret struggles. One of the most significant struggles Vera Ellen faced was her battle with anorexia nervosa, a disorder scarcely recognized or understood during her time. The pressures of maintaining a dancer's physique, combined with the rigorous demands of her profession and the aesthetic standards of the era, exacerbated her condition. By the 1950s, during the zenith of her career, the effects of her eating disorder became more visible, prompting concern and speculation among audiences and peers alike. Yet, the lack of awareness and conversation around mental health and eating disorders during that period meant Vera Ellen faced her challenges with little support or understanding from the broader public and industry. Beyond her health struggles, Vera Ellen's life was touched by deep personal loss. Her marriage to Robert Hightower ended in divorce, and she later married wealthy businessman Victor Rothschild. Though her second marriage brought some stability, it was marred by tragedy with the loss of their daughter, Victoria Ellen, to sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, in 1963. This devastating event plunged Vera Ellen into profound grief, impacting her both personally and professionally as she withdrew further from the Hollywood scene. As Vera Ellen contended with her personal demons, her professional life also faced challenges. The transition from the golden age of musical cinema to new entertainment forms saw a decline in the demand for the kind of dance-centric films that had been her forte. The changing landscape of Hollywood, combined with her health and personal issues, led to a sense of professional isolation, despite her significant contributions to the industry. Despite these struggles, Vera Ellen's legacy in dance and film remains undisputed. Her technical proficiency, combined with a profound expressive capability, set her apart as one of the era's most talented performers. However, the silence around her personal battles during her lifetime and the years following her death on August 30th, 1981, underscores the often overlooked human aspect behind the glitz and glamour of Hollywood stardom. The costume mystery. Vera Ellen's career in Hollywood was as much a visual feast as it was a showcase of talent, with her costumes playing a pivotal role in her on-screen persona. Known for her slender frame and elegant neck, a particular mystery that has fascinated fans and historians alike revolves around her wardrobe choices in later films, notably in the iconic White Christmas, 1954. Throughout this film and subsequent appearances, Vera Ellen was consistently seen wearing high-necked dresses and gowns, a choice that sparked speculation and rumors about the reasons behind such a distinctive style. Some have suggested that this was due to the actress's desire to conceal a prematurely aging neck, a physical trait that she was purportedly self-conscious about. This theory was further fueled by whispers of her battle with anorexia, which some believed had taken a toll on her physical appearance, compelling her to hide her neck. However, contrary to the rumors, those close to Vera Ellen and costume designers who worked with her have offered alternative explanations, emphasizing her love for fashion and her active involvement in the selection and design of her costumes. Her preference for high-necked attire was, by some accounts, a stylistic choice, reflective of her taste and the elegance she brought to her roles. Vera Ellen's collaboration with renowned costume designers, including Edith Head, who worked on White Christmas, suggests a mutual desire to create looks that were both flattering and functional, allowing her the freedom to perform complex dance routines without constraint. The speculation surrounding Vera Ellen's costume choices underscores the broader fascination with her life and career, blending the on-screen glamour with the off-screen mysteries. While the truth behind the high-necked costume mystery remains a topic of debate, it highlights the enduring interest in Vera Ellen's legacy, not just as a dancer and actress, but as a fashion icon of her time. The lost love. Vera Ellen's personal life, much like the roles she embodied with grace and vivacity on screen, was intertwined with profound love stories marked by both their depth and their eventual heartache. Among these, her marriage to fellow dancer Robert Hightower in 1941 stands as a poignant chapter in her life, embodying a union of shared dreams and aspirations within the dance world. This relationship, blossoming from their mutual passion for dance, promised a partnership of both personal and professional fulfillment. Their marriage, however, unfolded during a time when Vera Ellen's career was on a precipitous ascent. By the mid-1940s, particularly after her standout performances in On the Town, 1949, and her subsequent rise in Hollywood, the demands of fame began to exert pressure on their relationship. The couple navigated the challenges that came with Vera Ellen's increasing commitments and public scrutiny, a journey that tested the resilience of their bond. In 1945, amidst the glittering yet relentless pace of Hollywood, Vera Ellen and Robert Hightower's marriage faced its ultimate test. The year marked a turning point, not just in Vera Ellen's career, but in her personal life as well. Despite their efforts to sustain their relationship, the couple parted ways, their divorce finalizing in a time when Vera Ellen's star was shining its brightest. This period was a testament to the often unseen sacrifices behind the camera, where personal relationships were sometimes collateral in the pursuit of cinematic greatness. The end of her marriage to Hightower was a loss that Vera Ellen felt deeply, a chapter that closed with lingering questions about what might have been. Yet, her capacity to find love anew was evident in her subsequent marriage to Victor Rothschild in 1954. This relationship offered a semblance of stability and a new beginning, highlighting Vera Ellen's resilience and her enduring hope for personal happiness beyond the shadows of her lost love. However, tragedy struck again with the untimely death of her daughter with Rothschild, a devastating blow that left an indelible mark on Vera Ellen's life. The loss of her child was a sorrow that no acclaim or applause could mollify, a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities that lay beneath the surface of her public persona. Hollywood's best-kept secret. In the late 1940s, specifically around 1949, following her acclaimed performance in On the Town, Vera Ellen quietly embarked on a journey that would see her influencing the dance community behind the scenes. Known for her on-screen partnerships with icons like Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire, Vera Ellen's public persona was synonymous with her physical prowess and unmatched grace. However, beyond the camera's gaze, she was instrumental in fostering talent and advocating for the arts, particularly ballet, in a period when popular culture was rapidly evolving. Vera Ellen's passion for dance extended beyond her own career aspirations. She was deeply committed to the education and promotion of dance as an art form. Utilizing her resources and connections within the industry, she played a pivotal role in the establishment of scholarship programs aimed at nurturing young talent. While specific names and dates of these programs are not widely documented, her involvement in philanthropic efforts within the arts community during the early 1950s marked a significant yet understated chapter of her life. Moreover, Vera Ellen's influence was felt in the push for incorporating more intricate and technically demanding dance sequences in film, challenging both performers and choreographers to elevate the standard of dance in cinema. Her advocacy for dance as a serious and respected art form contributed to a gradual shift in how dance was perceived in Hollywood and beyond. Despite her contributions, Vera Ellen's efforts in this arena remained largely unrecognized, overshadowed by her on-screen achievements and personal struggles. It wasn't until years after her retirement from the screen and subsequent passing on August 30th, 1981, that the depth of her impact began to be fully appreciated. The Dancer's Last Stand. Vera Ellen's final notable appearance on the big screen in Let's Be Happy, 1957, marked a poignant conclusion to a dazzling career that had spanned over 2 decades. By this time, Vera Ellen had established herself as one of the premier dancers of Hollywood's golden age, known for her versatility and technical skill. Let's Be Happy, a Technicolor musical that showcased Vera Ellen's dancing prowess, served as a fitting farewell to a woman who had dedicated her life to the art of dance. This film, while not as commercially successful or critically acclaimed as her earlier works, offered audiences one last opportunity to witness Vera Ellen's talent. Despite the changing dynamics of Hollywood and the evolving tastes of cinema audiences, Vera Ellen's performance in Let's Be Happy was a testament to her enduring dedication to her craft. After Let's Be Happy, Vera Ellen gradually retreated from the public eye. The shift away from musicals and cinema, combined with personal challenges, led her to make the decision to step back from her career in Hollywood. She focused instead on her personal life and her health, which had been compromised by her struggles with anorexia and the loss of her daughter. Vera Ellen's legacy, however, remained undiminished. Her influence on the world of dance and cinema continues to be celebrated by fans and historians alike. Her contributions to the art of dance in film are remembered for their innovation, beauty, and the sheer joy they brought to audiences around the world. Jean Arthur's journey through Hollywood was unlike any other. With a career that spanned over 3 decades, she delivered performances that have since become benchmarks of the golden age of cinema. Yet, for someone so visible on the silver screen, Arthur was a figure of profound privacy, her off-screen life a stark contrast to the characters she so vivaciously brought to life. But who was Jean Arthur truly? Beyond the laughter and the acclaim, beyond the roles that made her a household name, there lay a woman of complexity, a soul who sought solace away from the cacophony of fame. Arthur's reluctance to embrace her celebrity status, her battles with anxiety, and her eventual retreat from Hollywood form a narrative as compelling as any of her films. This video seeks to peel back the layers of Jean Arthur's quiet radiance, to explore the dichotomy of a woman who was both a beacon of talent on screen and an enigma off it. From her early days in silent films to her unforgettable roles in classics directed by the likes of Frank Capra and George Stevens, we delve into the life of a woman who, despite her best efforts to remain out of the limelight, left an indelible mark on the industry and on the hearts of those who watched her. The rise of Jean Arthur. Jean Arthur's journey to becoming a beloved icon of Hollywood's golden age is a tale of resilience, talent, and an unmistakable voice that captivated audiences worldwide. Born Gladys Georgiana Green in 1900 in Plattsburgh, New York, Arthur's early life was marked by frequent moves, reflecting a restless spirit that would later define her career. Her entry into the world of acting was not a straightforward path. It was paved with the kind of determination and grit that characterized many of Hollywood's self-made stars. Arthur's foray into acting began in the early 1920s, a time when the film industry was undergoing significant transformations. The silent era was in full swing, and Hollywood was a burgeoning hub of creativity and innovation. Arthur's initial roles were small, often uncredited parts in silent films, where her distinctive presence began to draw attention. Despite the limitations of these early roles, Arthur's persistence paid off, leading to more substantial parts that showcased her range and depth as an actress. The transition from silent films to talkies in the late 1920s and early 1930s was a tumultuous period for many actors, whose careers were abruptly ended by the new demand for a different kind of on-screen presence. However, for Arthur, the advent of sound cinema provided an opportunity to leverage her most unique asset, her voice. Described as a mix of a squeak and a melodious lilt, Arthur's voice became her signature, setting her apart from her contemporaries and endearing her to audiences and critics alike. Arthur's breakthrough came with her role in The Whole Town's Talking, 1935, a performance that showcased her comedic timing and charm. However, it was her collaboration with director Frank Capra that catapulted her to stardom. Films like Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, 1936, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, 1939, not only solidified her status as a leading lady, but also highlighted her ability to bring depth and authenticity to her characters, traits that would define her career. Despite her success, Arthur's relationship with fame was complex. Known for her reclusive nature and discomfort with the Hollywood publicity machine, Arthur's off-screen life was shrouded in mystery, a stark contrast to the vivacious and approachable characters she portrayed. The craft of comedy. Jean Arthur's ascent to the zenith of Hollywood stardom was marked by her unparalleled mastery of the screwball comedy genre, a style of film that became immensely popular during the 1930s and 1940s. This genre, known for its fast-paced dialogue, complex plots, and blend of slapstick with a sophisticated wit, found its perfect muse in Arthur. Her performances in Mr. Deeds Goes to Town and The Lady Eve are emblematic of her ability to navigate the intricate dynamics of screwball comedy, showcasing her talent for combining wit, charm, and a palpable sense of vulnerability. Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, 1936, directed by Frank Capra, was a pivotal film in Arthur's career. Cast opposite Gary Cooper, Arthur played the role of Babe Bennett, a sharp-witted reporter who falls for Longfellow deeds. Cooper, a simple man who inherits a vast fortune. Arthur's portrayal of Bennett was a masterclass in the screwball heroine archetype, intelligent, independent, and morally complex. Her on-screen chemistry with Cooper was electric, and her performance earned critical acclaim, solidifying her status as one of the era's leading ladies in comedy. However, it was perhaps her role in The Lady Eve, 1941, directed by Preston Sturges, that fully showcased Arthur's comedic genius. Though Barbara Stanwyck played the lead in The Lady Eve, Arthur's roles in similar screwball comedies of the era, such as The More the Merrier, 1943, demonstrated her adeptness at this genre. Her ability to deliver rapid-fire dialogue with precision, coupled with her comedic timing and the inherent warmth she brought to her characters, made her performances stand out. Arthur's characters often challenged societal norms, embodying a modern woman's spirit who was both assertive and feminine. Arthur's unique appeal in the screwball comedy genre lay in her ability to blend humor with heart. Her characters were not mere caricatures, they were imbued with a depth and complexity that resonated with audiences. Arthur herself brought a sense of authenticity to these roles, drawing on her personal experiences and inner resilience. Off-screen, Arthur was known for her shyness and aversion to the Hollywood limelight, traits that contrasted sharply with the confident women she portrayed on screen. This juxtaposition between her private self and her public persona added layers to her performances, making her characters all the more compelling. Arthur's contribution to the screwball comedy genre extended beyond her individual performances. She helped define the archetype of the screwball heroine, a woman who was equal parts intellect, humor, and heart. This archetype would influence countless films and performances in the genre, leaving a legacy that endures in cinematic history. Jean Arthur's mastery of screwball comedy, highlighted in films like Mr. Deeds Goes to Town and through her body of work in the genre, showcases her as one of the definitive leading ladies of her era. Her ability to convey wit, charm, and vulnerability on screen not only endeared her to audiences, but also cemented her place in Hollywood's golden age as a symbol of comedic and dramatic excellence. Arthur and Capra, a cinematic partnership. The collaboration between Jean Arthur and Frank Capra is one of Hollywood's most celebrated director-actor partnerships, emblematic of a period when cinema was as much about entertainment as it was about conveying poignant social messages. This partnership flourished during the 1930s, a time of significant social and economic upheaval in the United States. Capra, with his deeply ingrained belief in the goodness of the common man and his critique of unchecked power, found in Arthur not just a talented actress, but a conduit for his themes of integrity, resilience, and social justice. Their collaboration produced several films, but none more significant than Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, 1939, a film that has come to define American ideals of democracy and individual agency. Arthur played Clarissa Saunders, a savvy and cynical secretary who helps the film's protagonist, Jefferson Smith, played by James Stewart, navigate the complexities of American politics. Arthur's performance, marked by a blend of skepticism and eventual inspiration, perfectly complemented Capra's vision of an America where ordinary individuals can make a difference. The success of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington was due in no small part to the synergy between Capra's direction and Arthur's performance. Capra's socially conscious storytelling, which often tackled themes of corruption, media manipulation, and the loss of innocence, found its ideal expression in Arthur's characters, who often embodied a blend of idealism and pragmatism. This dynamic allowed Capra's films to resonate on a deeply emotional level, with Arthur serving as the relatable, human element in his grand narratives. Arthur's collaboration with Capra was not limited to Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Their partnership also produced Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, 1936, and You Can't Take It With You, 1938, films that similarly explored themes of simplicity, honesty, and the value of community. In each of these films, Arthur's performances were critical to grounding Capra's ideals in relatable human terms. Her ability to convey complex emotions with subtlety and depth provided the perfect foil to Capra's larger-than-life characters and situations. Beyond her work with Capra, Arthur's career was also marked by her collaboration with another legendary director, John Ford, in The Whole Town's Talking, 1935. While her partnership with Ford was not as extensive as with Capra, it further showcased her versatility as an actress and her ability to adapt to different directorial styles. Ford, known for his portrayal of American myths and landscapes, utilized Arthur's talent to explore themes of identity and redemption, adding another layer to her already diverse career. The Reluctant Star. Jean Arthur's luminous presence on the silver screen belied a deeply private nature, a paradox that defined her career and personal life. Despite her undeniable talent and the acclaim that came with it, Arthur was known for her shyness and aversion to the Hollywood limelight, a reluctance that stood in stark contrast to the bold, spirited characters she portrayed. This chapter delves into the complexities of Arthur's stardom, exploring how her reluctance to embrace fame contrasted sharply with her on-screen persona and professional success. Arthur's preference for privacy over public accolades was well known within the industry. Unlike many of her contemporaries, she eschewed the typical trappings of Hollywood fame, rarely appearing at public events or participating in the studio's publicity efforts beyond what was contractually required. Interviews with Arthur were scarce, and she was known to be uncomfortable with the fanfare and attention that came with her profession. This reticence extended to her personal life, which she guarded fiercely, leading to much speculation and mystery surrounding the actress. Despite her aversion to the spotlight, Arthur's talent could not be contained. On screen, she exuded a natural warmth and charisma, endearing her to audiences and making her one of the most beloved actresses of her time. Her ability to convey strength, vulnerability, and humor, often simultaneously, made her performances compelling and relatable. Arthur's work with directors like Frank Capra highlighted her unique appeal, showcasing her as the quintessential everywoman who embodied American ideals of integrity and resilience. The contrast between Arthur's public and private selves raises questions about the nature of stardom and the expectations placed on public figures. Arthur's career coincided with the golden age of Hollywood, a time when stars were expected to maintain a certain image and availability to their fans. Her reluctance to participate in this aspect of her profession was seen as unconventional, even problematic, by studio executives who relied on star power to promote their films. Yet, Arthur's insistence on maintaining her privacy can also be viewed as a form of resistance against the commodification of celebrity and an assertion of her autonomy. Arthur's shyness and preference for privacy did not diminish her professional dedication. Colleagues and directors often spoke of her commitment to her craft, her meticulous preparation for roles, and her ability to transform once the cameras were rolling. This professionalism, coupled with her natural talent, ensured that Arthur's career thrived despite her aversion to the spotlight. Pioneering feminine archetypes. In an era when women on screen were often relegated to secondary or stereotypical roles, Arthur's characters stood out for their strength, intelligence, and independence. Her portrayal of such roles contributed to evolving representations of women in cinema, offering audiences a glimpse of a more nuanced and empowered female identity. Arthur's characters were often women ahead of their time, navigating professional and personal challenges with a blend of resilience and grace. In Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, she plays a savvy reporter who, despite her initial cynicism, reveals a deep capacity for empathy and integrity. Similarly, in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Arthur portrays a seasoned political aide who becomes an invaluable ally to James Stewart's idealistic senator, showcasing her character's intelligence and political acumen. These roles, among others, positioned Arthur as an actress capable of conveying complex female experiences, breaking away from the damsel-in-distress archetype prevalent in many films of the era. Arthur's on-screen personas resonated with the emerging sensibilities of a society on the cusp of significant social change. The 1930s and 1940s were decades marked by economic turmoil, war, and the beginning of shifts in gender dynamics. Women were entering the workforce in unprecedented numbers, and their roles within the family and society at large were beginning to evolve. Arthur's characters reflected this shift, embodying the aspirations and challenges of a generation of women seeking greater autonomy and recognition. Moreover, Arthur's collaboration with directors like Frank Capra further amplified her impact on the portrayal of women in cinema. Capra's films, known for their social commentary and exploration of American ideals, provided Arthur with a platform to showcase her range as an actress and to bring to life characters that were both relatable and inspirational. Her performances in Capra's films not only entertained, but also provoked thought about the role of women in society, their capacity for leadership, and their right to pursue personal and professional fulfillment. Jean Arthur's contribution to cinema extends beyond her individual performances to include her influence on the portrayal of women on screen. By taking on roles that challenged traditional gender roles, Arthur paved the way for future generations of actresses. Her legacy is evident in the increasingly complex and diverse representations of women in film, a testament to her enduring impact on the industry. Arthur's reluctance to embrace the trappings of fame, coupled with her commitment to portraying strong, intelligent women, underscores the duality of her legacy. Off-screen, she was a private individual who shied away from the spotlight, yet on-screen, she represented a progressive vision of womanhood. This duality enriches Arthur's legacy, making her not just a celebrated actress of Hollywood's golden age, but also a pioneering figure in the evolution of women's representation in cinema. The transition to stage and television. Jean Arthur's transition from the silver screen to the stage and television marked a significant shift in her career, reflecting her desire to explore different facets of acting and to engage with new audiences. This chapter delves into the later part of Arthur's career, highlighting her notable stage performances and her role in the television series The Jean Arthur Show, underscoring her continued impact on the performing arts. After achieving considerable success in Hollywood, Arthur's career took a turn as she began to seek opportunities beyond film. Her move towards stage and television was driven by a combination of factors, including her well-documented discomfort with the Hollywood system and her desire for more challenging and diverse roles. Arthur's foray into theater was not just a departure from film, but a return to her roots. Before her Hollywood fame, she had experience in New York's theater scene, which had initially honed her acting skills. One of Arthur's most significant stage roles came in 1950, when she starred in the Broadway production of Peter Pan as Peter. Her performance was lauded for its energy and whimsy, capturing the eternal youthfulness of the character and showcasing Arthur's versatility as an actress. This role, among others, demonstrated Arthur's ability to captivate live audiences, just as she had film audiences, with her unique charm and talent. Arthur's transition to television was highlighted by The Jean Arthur Show in 1966, where she played a lawyer. The show was an attempt to capitalize on Arthur's enduring appeal, offering her a platform to reach a new generation of viewers. Despite the show's short run, it was a testament to Arthur's willingness to embrace new challenges and to adapt to the changing dynamics of the entertainment industry. Arthur's work in stage and television during the latter part of her career is indicative of her broader impact on the performing arts. She brought the same depth and nuance to her stage and television roles as she did to her film characters, challenging traditional gender roles and paving the way for future generations of actresses. Her characters often embodied strength, intelligence, and independence, contributing to evolving representations of women in cinema and beyond. Moreover, Arthur's transition highlights the fluidity between different mediums of acting, underscoring the idea that talent transcends the platform. Her ability to move between film, stage, and television with ease and success is a testament to her skill as an actress and her dedication to her craft. In examining the later part of Jean Arthur's career, we see a performer who was not content to rest on her laurels, but was driven by a passion for acting and a desire to explore the full range of her abilities. Her contributions to stage and television are an essential part of her legacy, showcasing her versatility and her continued relevance in the world of performing arts. The legacy of a reluctant star. Reflecting on Jean Arthur's enduring legacy in Hollywood requires an appreciation of her unique position within the pantheon of Golden Age cinema. Arthur's contributions to the film industry during her active years were profound, not only in terms of the memorable characters she brought to life, but also in how she navigated her career with a rare blend of integrity and talent. This chapter focuses on Arthur's impact on the film industry, her influence on contemporary actresses, and her lasting symbol as an exemplar of grace and professionalism in an industry often criticized for its excesses. Jean Arthur's legacy in Hollywood is anchored in her performances, which often broke the mold of traditional female roles. Her characters were strong, intelligent, and independent, embodying a modern woman who could stand on equal footing with her male counterparts. This was a significant departure from the more conventional portrayals of women in cinema at the time, making Arthur a forerunner in the evolution of female characters in Hollywood. Films like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and The More the Merrier not only showcased her talent, but also her ability to portray women of substance and complexity. Arthur's influence extends beyond the roles she played. Her approach to her career and her life in Hollywood set her apart. Known for her aversion to the limelight and her dedication to her craft, Arthur chose roles that resonated with her personally and professionally, rather than those that would merely elevate her star status. This principled approach to acting, coupled with her natural talent, made her a role model for actresses of her time and for generations to come. Margaret Lockwood's journey through the world of acting was not just a career. It was a rebellion against the conventional, a series of choices that marked her as cinema's captivating contrarian. From her early days on the stage to her reign as the queen of Gainsborough melodramas, Lockwood defied expectations, choosing roles that challenged and transcended the traditional confines of female characters in British cinema. But what drove her to these choices? Was it a deliberate defiance, a personal inclination, or simply the allure of the complex and the controversial? And how did this contrarian path affect her, both as an actress and as a person living in the relentless spotlight of fame? As we peel back the layers of Margaret Lockwood's illustrious career, we uncover the stories of ambition, passion, and complexity. We delve into her iconic roles, from the virtuous to the villainous, and explore how these characters became inextricably linked with Lockwood's off-screen persona. We trace her journey through the war years, a time that tested her resolve and reshaped her career, and follow her transition to the stage and television, where she continued to captivate audiences with her versatility and depth. This is an homage to Margaret Lockwood, a woman whose legacy in British cinema is as enduring as it is enigmatic. Join us as we explore the life and career of cinema's captivating contrarian, a woman who lived her life with the same intensity and complexity as the characters she brought to life on screen. Prepare to be captivated by the story of Margaret Lockwood, a true icon of British cinema. Early life and ascent to stardom. Margaret Lockwood, born on September 15, 1916, in Karachi, British India, now Pakistan, embarked on a journey that would see her become one of Britain's most beloved film stars. Her early life, marked by a move to London at a young age, laid the foundation for a career that would span decades and ingrain her in the annals of British cinema history. This chapter delves into the formative years of Lockwood's life, her entry into the world of acting, and the pivotal roles that catapulted her to stardom, setting her on a path to becoming cinema's captivating contrarian. Lockwood's interest in acting was nurtured from a young age, influenced by her mother, who encouraged her to pursue her passion for the stage. This support led her to attend the Italia Conti Academy of Theatre Arts in London, where she honed her craft and prepared for a career in acting. Lockwood's early experiences in theater, including her professional debut in 1934 in a production of The Lash, were instrumental in developing her skills and presence as an actress. These formative years in the theater were crucial, providing her with the discipline and versatility that would become hallmarks of her career. Lockwood's transition from the stage to the screen was marked by her film debut in Lorna Doone, 1934, a minor role that nonetheless offered her valuable experience in the burgeoning British film industry. However, it was her performance in The Man in Grey, 1943, that truly marked her ascent to stardom. In this film, part of the Gainsborough melodramas, Lockwood's portrayal of the malevolent Hester Shaw showcased her ability to captivate audiences with her complex characterizations, setting her apart from her contemporaries. The Man in Grey was a turning point for Lockwood, both professionally and personally. The film's success catapulted her to fame, establishing her as a leading lady in British cinema. It also marked the beginning of her long-standing collaboration with Gainsborough Studios, where she would go on to star in a series of melodramas that capitalized on her unique blend of elegance, intensity, and depth. Films such as Love Story, 1944, and The Wicked Lady, 1945, further solidified her status as a cinematic icon, with Lockwood's performances earning critical acclaim and drawing audiences with their blend of romance, intrigue, and drama. Lockwood's ascent to stardom was not without its challenges. The British film industry, like its Hollywood counterpart, was a male-dominated field, with limited roles for women that often relegated them to secondary status. Lockwood's choice of roles, often strong, complex women who defied societal expectations, was both a reflection of her personal convictions and a strategic career move. By choosing such roles, Lockwood not only challenged the industry's gender norms, but also carved out a niche for herself as an actress capable of delivering powerful performances that resonated with audiences. The Gainsborough melodramas. Margaret Lockwood's career took a definitive turn with her roles in the Gainsborough melodramas during the 1940s, a period that not only marked her ascent to stardom, but also saw her becoming the embodiment of a certain kind of on-screen femininity that was both alluring and complex. The Gainsborough melodramas, known for their lavish costumes, intricate plots, and emotional intensity, provided the perfect backdrop for Lockwood to showcase her range as an actress. This chapter delves into her involvement in these films, focusing on how they shaped her public persona and contributed to her image as cinema's captivating contrarian. The Gainsborough melodramas were a series of films produced by Gainsborough Pictures, which became immensely popular in wartime Britain. They were characterized by their romantic and often scandalous narratives, which stood in stark contrast to the realities of wartime austerity. Lockwood's roles in these films, particularly in The Man in Grey, 1943, and The Wicked Lady, 1945, catapulted her to the status of a national icon. In The Man in Grey, Lockwood's portrayal of the malevolent Hester Shaw revealed her ability to inhabit morally complex characters, challenging the audience's perceptions and sympathies. Her performance in The Wicked Lady further cemented her status as a leading lady capable of carrying a film with her nuanced portrayal of Barbara Worth, a character driven by passion and ambition. Lockwood's roles in these melodramas were significant for several reasons. Firstly, they allowed her to break away from the more traditional roles assigned to women in British cinema, offering her opportunities to explore characters with depth, agency, and complexity. Secondly, these roles resonated with the British public, who were drawn to the escapism offered by the melodramas. Lockwood's characters, often women who defied societal norms and pursued their desires unabashedly, offered a form of vicarious liberation to audiences confined by the strictures of wartime Britain. The impact of the Gainsborough melodramas on Lockwood's career was profound. They established her as a versatile actress capable of drawing audiences into the emotional landscapes of her characters. Moreover, these films showcased Lockwood's ability to navigate the dualities of her roles, women who were at once desirable and dangerous, vulnerable and powerful. This complexity made her performances stand out and contributed to her lasting legacy in British cinema. However, Lockwood's association with the melodramas also presented challenges. The typecasting inherent in her success with these films meant that she had to work harder to find roles that allowed her to step outside the melodramatic genre and demonstrate her range as an actress. Despite these challenges, Lockwood's work in the Gainsborough melodramas remains a testament to her skill, charisma, and enduring appeal as an actress. Iconic roles and performances. Beyond the Gainsborough melodramas, Lockwood's career was marked by a series of roles that showcased her ability to navigate a wide range of characters, from the ingenue to the femme fatale, each imbued with her unique blend of charisma and complexity. This chapter explores some of Lockwood's most memorable performances, highlighting how these roles contributed to her enduring legacy in British cinema. One of Lockwood's most celebrated roles came early in her career with Alfred Hitchcock's The Lady Vanishes, 1938. In this film, Lockwood played Iris Henderson, a young woman who becomes embroiled in a mystery when a fellow passenger disappears on a train journey across Europe. Lockwood's performance was pivotal to the film's success, blending strength and vulnerability in a way that captivated audiences and critics alike. The Lady Vanishes not only solidified Hitchcock's reputation as a master of suspense, but also demonstrated Lockwood's capacity for leading roles that required a delicate balance of determination and nuance. Following her success in the Gainsborough melodramas, Lockwood continued to explore complex characters, notably in The Wicked Lady, 1945. Her portrayal of Barbara Worth, a character driven by ambition and desire, was both controversial and compelling, challenging post-war British society's expectations of women. Lockwood's ability to elicit sympathy for an ostensibly immoral character spoke volumes about her skill and presence as an actress. Another significant role was in Jassy, 1947, where Lockwood played a Romany woman endowed with the gift of second sight, accused of witchcraft. This role allowed Lockwood to delve into a character that was both outside the societal norms and rich with emotional depth, further showcasing her range and contributing to the film's success. Lockwood's performances were not confined to the silver screen. Her stage work, particularly in plays such as Peter Pan and Private Lives, demonstrated her versatility and commitment to her craft. These theatrical roles allowed Lockwood to engage with her audience in a more intimate setting, bringing a different dimension to her performances and allowing her to explore the nuances of her characters in real time. Throughout her career, Lockwood navigated the changing landscape of British cinema with grace and adaptability. Her choice of roles reflected not only her personal interests and challenges, but also her keen understanding of the industry and her audience. Lockwood's performances, characterized by their emotional depth and complexity, challenged the conventional portrayals of women on screen, offering audiences a glimpse into the lives of fully realized, multifaceted characters. Margaret Lockwood's iconic roles and performances left an indelible mark on British cinema. Her ability to captivate audiences, coupled with her willingness to explore complex and often controversial characters, cemented her status as one of Britain's most beloved actresses. The contrarian persona on and off screen. Margaret Lockwood's public persona was as multifaceted and intriguing as the characters she portrayed on screen. Known for her captivating performances and complex roles, Lockwood also exhibited a strong, independent spirit in her personal life, often making choices that defied the expectations of her time. This chapter delves into Lockwood's off-screen personality, her interactions with the press and public, and how her personal convictions influenced her career and public image. Lockwood's career choices reflected a contrarian streak that set her apart from her contemporaries. She was not content to be pigeonholed into the traditional roles available to women in the film industry of her era. Instead, she sought out and thrived in roles that offered depth and nuance, portraying women who were not just romantic interests or damsels in distress, but complex individuals with their own stories and agency. This approach to her career was indicative of Lockwood's broader views on women's roles in society and the film industry, where she advocated for greater representation and complexity in female characters. Off-screen, Lockwood was known for her wit, intelligence, and a certain degree of privacy. She managed to maintain a balance between her public persona and her private life, a feat in an era when the private lives of film stars were increasingly becoming fodder for public consumption. Lockwood's interactions with the press were marked by a savvy understanding of the power of media, using interviews and public appearances to craft an image that was both accessible and enigmatic. Despite her success and popularity, Lockwood was not immune to the challenges faced by women in the entertainment industry. She navigated the pressures of fame with a pragmatic approach, making strategic decisions that allowed her to pursue the roles she wanted while maintaining a level of control over her career. Her ability to do so was partly due to her talent and partly due to her understanding of the industry's dynamics, which she used to her advantage. Lockwood's personal life, particularly her relationships and role as a mother, also reflected her independent spirit. She was a devoted mother to her daughter, Julia Lockwood, and worked to balance her career with her responsibilities as a parent. This aspect of her life, though less publicized, was an essential part of her identity and influenced her choices in roles and projects. The legacy of Margaret Lockwood's contrarian persona extends beyond her filmography. She was a trailblazer in many ways, challenging the norms of her time and paving the way for future generations of actresses. Her insistence on complex, strong-willed characters helped to broaden the scope of roles available to women in British cinema, contributing to a gradual shift in how female characters were portrayed on screen. Margaret Lockwood's life and career were a study in contrasts. On screen, she was often the epitome of grace and mystery, captivating audiences with her performances. Off-screen, she was a woman of conviction and independence, navigating the complexities of fame and personal life with intelligence and grace. Her persona, both on and off the screen, remains a compelling aspect of her legacy, making her one of British cinema's most enduring and fascinating figure. The war years and beyond. The war years marked a pivotal period in Margaret Lockwood's career, reflecting a time when the entertainment industry was deeply intertwined with the national war effort. Lockwood's roles during this period took on a new dimension, as British cinema sought to boost morale and support the war effort. Post-war, her career transitioned as she embraced new opportunities in television and stage, showcasing her versatility as an actress. During World War II, British cinema played a crucial role in maintaining public morale. Lockwood starred in The Lady Vanishes, 1938, directed by Alfred Hitchcock before the war's outbreak, which became a significant success both in the UK and internationally. However, it was her work in films such as Love Story, 1944, where she played a concert pianist who goes blind, that resonated with wartime audiences. The film, released amidst the backdrop of the war, showcased Lockwood's ability to portray resilience and strength, qualities that mirrored the national sentiment. In 1945, as the war concluded, Lockwood's career continued to flourish with the release of The Wicked Lady, 1945, a film that became one of the highest-grossing British films of the decade. Her portrayal of Barbara Worth, a character who becomes a highwaywoman, captivated post-war audiences, eager for escapism and intrigued by Lockwood's complex portrayal of her character's ambition and defiance. As British cinema transitioned in the post-war years, so did Lockwood's career. The late 1940s and 1950s saw her taking on roles that were reflective of the changing societal attitudes and the film industry's evolution. Films like Highly Dangerous, 1950, where Lockwood played a scientist sent behind the Iron Curtain, showcased her in roles that broke away from traditional stereotypes, aligning with the era's growing interest in spy thrillers and Cold War narratives. Lockwood's transition to television and stage in the 1950s and 1960s marked a new chapter in her career. She embraced the medium of television, appearing in productions such as Justice, 1971 to 1974, a legal drama series that offered her the lead role as Harriet Peterson, a barrister navigating the complexities of law and justice. This role, among others, demonstrated Lockwood's adaptability and continued appeal as an actress, allowing her to reach new audiences and explore different facets of her craft. Her stage work during this period included notable performances in productions such as Peter Pan and Private Lives, where Lockwood's stage presence and performance depth were on full display. These roles allowed her to engage with live audiences, bringing a different dimension to her acting and further solidifying her status as a versatile and skilled performer. The stage and television. In the 1950s, as the allure of cinema began to compete with the rising popularity of television, Lockwood, like many of her contemporaries, explored opportunities in this new medium. Television offered a platform for more intimate storytelling and character development, aspects that played to Lockwood's strengths as an actress known for her depth and nuance. One of her significant television roles came in the early 1970s with the legal drama series Justice. Lockwood starred as Harriet Peterson, a barrister navigating the complexities of the legal system and championing the cause of justice. This role allowed Lockwood to portray a strong, intelligent woman breaking barriers in a male-dominated profession, themes that resonated with her career-long penchant for playing pioneering female characters. Justice ran for several seasons, affirming Lockwood's status as a television star and introducing her to a new generation of viewers. Parallel to her television work, Lockwood's passion for the stage saw a revival. The theater offered her the opportunity to engage with live audiences, bringing an immediacy and energy that differed from her film and television roles. Her stage work included a variety of productions, from classic plays to contemporary dramas, allowing her to explore a range of characters and themes. One notable stage appearance was in the production of Peter Pan, where Lockwood played Mrs. Darling. The role leveraged her maternal warmth and elegance, qualities that had endeared her to film audiences in a setting that highlighted her versatility and stage presence. Another significant stage role was in Noel Coward's Private Lives, where she showcased her comedic timing and ability to capture the complexities of romantic entanglements. The legacy of a contrarian icon. Margaret Lockwood's foray into television and stage during the latter part of her career underscores her adaptability and enduring talent. By embracing these new arenas, she demonstrated a willingness to evolve with the industry and explore the breadth of her abilities as a performer. Her success in television and theater contributed to her legacy as one of Britain's most versatile and beloved actresses, whose career spanned the changing dynamics of the entertainment world. Lockwood's transition from cinema to television and stage also reflects broader trends in the entertainment industry during the mid-20th century, as actors sought to diversify their portfolios and engage with audiences across different mediums. Her ability to maintain relevance and acclaim across cinema, television, and theater is a testament to her skill, dedication, and the indelible mark she left on the performing arts. Some of the old-time Hollywood celebrities were into stuff you wouldn't believe, from having weird obsessions with scat
It is Austin.
to something as bizarre as an irrational fear for the color purple. There is no denying the fact that most of what you're about to be exposed to make absolutely no sense. Charles Laughton's weird diet. In his memoir, Full Service, My Adventures in Hollywood and the Sex Lives of the Stars, Scotty Bowers claims to have either slept with or arranged sexual liaisons for hundreds of the best-known celebrities during Hollywood's golden age. One of the most shocking stories involves British actor Charles Laughton. But that's not all. According to Bowers, Laughton once asked him to bring over a young male guest while his wife was out. When Bowers and the young man arrived, Laughton began making a sandwich. He carefully sliced up lettuce and tomatoes, arranged them on sourdough bread, added a bit of lemon juice, and sprinkled some salt and pepper. This is where it gets interesting. After a few minutes of prep work, Lawton took the bread slices in one hand, picked up a pot with the other, and asked the young man to follow him into the bathroom. But what happened next will shock you. Here's what Bowers describes. Charles was the first to return. He put the plate with the bread slices on the kitchen table. I could see that the lettuce and tomatoes had been lightly smeared with a light brown substance. Seconds later, Ted appeared in the kitchen. His erection was gone, and he was looking decidedly sheepish, perhaps even a trifle embarrassed. I stared at him curiously, and he pulled a face, hoping that Charles wouldn't notice. He pointed at the bread slices on the plate and then lightly patted his backside. And then, believe it or not, Lawton ate the sandwich. Ronald Reagan's obsession with young virgins. Ronald Reagan is often remembered more for his political career than his time in Hollywood, but back in the 1940s and 50s he was one of Tinseltown's leading men. But that's not all. One of the most cringe-inducing rumors about Reagan's Hollywood days comes from his co-star in the 1950 drama Louisa, Piper Laurie. She claims that the future GOP icon took her virginity when he was 39 years old, and she was just 18. But what happened next will shock you. In her memoir, Laurie writes that Reagan first seduced her on the set of their film Louisa, where he played her father. At first, Reagan seemed like a true gentleman. He even asked Laurie's mother for permission to take her on a date. Sounds charming, right? But instead of the glamorous evening Laurie had imagined, Reagan took both her and her mother to his house, where he cooked hamburger steak and salad. This is where it gets interesting. After dinner, things took a strange turn. Reagan led Laurie back to the bedroom. According to her, the actor was an insensitive show-off in bed. He bragged about how long he'd been erect, 40 whole minutes, and how much his condom had cost. But that's not all. Laurie also recounts that Reagan was far from a considerate lover. Not only did he fail to pleasure her, but when she mentioned her lack of an orgasm, his response was harsh and critical. According to her, he said, "There's something wrong with you that you should fix." Howard Hughes's extreme obsession with hygiene. Howard Hughes, the brilliant yet enigmatic tycoon, had a mind that worked in extraordinary ways. His achievements in aviation, film, and business were nothing short of legendary. But alongside his brilliance, there was a peculiar and relentless obsession that dominated his life: cleanliness. Imagine a man so consumed by the fear of germs that he would lock himself away in dark rooms for days, sometimes even weeks. Hughes turned his lavish homes into fortresses of solitude, meticulously sealed to keep out any potential contamination. The windows were often covered, creating a gloomy, almost eerie atmosphere, as if he were living in a perpetual twilight. Hughes's hand-washing routine was nothing short of ritualistic. Picture this. He would wash his hands repeatedly, scrubbing them until they were raw and sometimes even bleeding. It wasn't just a quick rinse. It was a painstaking process, as if he were trying to scrub away invisible threats. His fear of germs was so intense that he believed even the slightest contact could lead to illness or infection. But Hughes's obsession didn't stop at hand washing. He went to extraordinary lengths to avoid human contact altogether. For instance, if he had to meet someone, he would often communicate through notes or intercom systems, avoiding face-to-face interactions. He would use tissues to touch objects and had a meticulous system for handling everyday items to ensure they remained uncontaminated. Hughes's peculiarities extended to his instructions to staff and associates. He once demanded that all canned food be meticulously washed and scrubbed before opening. Imagine the bewilderment of his staff as they followed these bizarre instructions, knowing that any deviation could trigger one of Hughes's infamous outbursts. Even when he was flying, Hughes couldn't escape his fears. His custom-built planes were designed with his germophobia in mind. He often flew alone or with minimal crew, ensuring that the aircraft remained as sterile as possible. The irony of an aviation pioneer afraid of the very air he conquered is striking, isn't it? Hughes's obsession with cleanliness and germs was a constant battle in his mind. Despite his towering intellect and achievements, he was trapped by his own fears. This relentless battle between his rational, inventive side and his irrational, obsessive side created a fascinating yet tragic figure. The man who soared to great heights in both the literal and metaphorical sense was, in many ways, grounded by his own mind. Mae West's astrology obsession. Mae West, a name synonymous with boldness and wit, was a star who dazzled both on and off the screen. But behind her larger-than-life persona and sultry quips lay a fascination that guided many of her choices: astrology. Mae West was deeply obsessed with astrology. This wasn't just a casual interest or a passing fancy, it was a central pillar of her decision-making process. Imagine a woman who, despite her confidence and unshakable self-assuredness, would not make any major life decisions without first consulting her astrologer. Whether it was a career move, a personal relationship, or even the timing of her day-to-day activities, the stars had to align for Mae. Her belief in astrology was so profound that it influenced her creative work. She wrote a play called The Constant Sinner, which was steeped in astrological themes. The narrative wasn't just a backdrop for her characters. It was interwoven with the celestial movements and zodiac signs that Mae believed so deeply in. This wasn't just art imitating life. It was life, love, and destiny dictated by the cosmos. Think about the confidence and assertiveness Mae West exuded in every role she played and every public appearance she made. Now imagine that same woman, with all her bravado, quietly consulting her astrologer in private, seeking guidance from the alignment of planets and stars. It's a striking contrast, isn't it? The idea that such a powerful figure would defer to celestial charts and predictions adds a fascinating layer to her already complex persona. Astrology wasn't just a hobby for Mae West, it was a way of life. She saw the patterns and signs as a roadmap, helping her navigate the tumultuous landscape of Hollywood and her personal life. This deep-rooted belief in the stars provided her with a sense of control and direction, a way to make sense of the often unpredictable nature of fame and fortune. Marlene Dietrich and collecting men's clothes. Beyond her screen persona, Marlene had an intriguing obsession that set her apart from her contemporaries: a fascination with men's clothing. This wasn't just a passing fancy or a quirky interest. It was a profound passion that influenced both her personal life and her public image. Dietrich didn't merely collect men's clothing, she wore it with a sense of ease and confidence that challenged the norms of her time. In an era when women were expected to adhere to strict fashion conventions, Dietrich's choice to don suits, trousers, and tailored shirts was nothing short of revolutionary. Picture her walking into a Hollywood event in a perfectly fitted tuxedo, her hair meticulously styled, and her makeup flawless. The image was striking and unforgettable, making a powerful statement about gender and fashion. She was one of the first women to popularize androgynous fashion in Hollywood. Her style wasn't about rejecting femininity, but about embracing a broader spectrum of identity. By wearing men's clothing, Dietrich played with societal expectations, blending masculinity and femininity in a way that was both provocative and liberating. She made it clear that clothing was an expression of self, not a strict adherence to gender norms. Dietrich's fascination with men's clothing went beyond the surface. She appreciated the craftsmanship, the structure, and the way these garments allowed her to move and present herself. Collecting these pieces became a hobby, a form of self-expression, and a way to assert her individuality. Imagine her private wardrobe, filled with an array of perfectly tailored suits, each piece carefully chosen and cherished. Her influence extended far beyond her personal collection. Dietrich's androgynous style inspired countless designers and fashion enthusiasts, paving the way for future generations to explore and embrace non-traditional fashion choices. She wasn't just a style icon. She was a pioneer who challenged the fashion industry's rigid boundaries. Peter Sellers' obsession against the color purple. Most people have typical fears like heights, snakes, or spiders, but Peter Sellers, he had a bizarre terror of the color purple. Now, Sellers' eccentricity wasn't the lovable, bumbling kind he often portrayed in his roles. It was far more chaotic and disturbing, making him a difficult person to be around. On film sets, Sellers was infamous for his explosive outbursts. Imagine him in a fit of rage, yelling at his wives, smashing dishes, and even brandishing a shotgun to vent his anger. His tantrums didn't stop there. He clashed with directors and producers, despite their higher status, and would often get lower-level staff fired if they crossed him. His erratic behavior was compounded by his vague racism and intense superstitions. One superstition in particular involved the famed director Vittorio De Sica. While they were working on After the Fox, Sellers saw De Sica berate a script girl for wearing purple. The director ominously declared that purple was the color of death. This statement profoundly impacted Sellers, who became convinced that the color purple could kill. From then on, Sellers' fear of purple dominated his actions. Any time he encountered the color, he'd fly into a panic, throwing tantrums and insisting it be removed. This irrational fear added yet another layer of unpredictability to an already volatile personality, making life around him a constant challenge. Charlie Chaplin's obsession with younger women. Charlie Chaplin, the legendary actor, filmmaker, and comedian, known for his iconic character, the Little Tramp, also had a much darker side to his personal life. Beyond the silver screen, Chaplin's relationships were the subject of much controversy, largely due to his well-known obsession with very young women. This fixation shaped his personal and professional life in ways that continue to spark debate. Chaplin's first marriage was to Mildred Harris in 1918, when he was 29 and she was just 16. Their relationship began when Harris was only 15, highlighting the significant age difference and Chaplin's preference for much younger partners. The marriage was short-lived, lasting only 2 years, but it set a precedent for Chaplin's future romantic endeavors. Following his divorce from Harris, Chaplin embarked on a series of relationships with teenage girls. His second marriage was to Lita Gray, who was 16 when they started their relationship and 18 when they married in 1924. Chaplin was 35 at the time. Their union was fraught with difficulties from the start. Gray's youth and inexperience clashed with Chaplin's controlling nature, leading to a tumultuous relationship that ended in a highly publicized and acrimonious divorce. The divorce proceedings revealed many sordid details about Chaplin's behavior, further cementing his controversial reputation. Despite the scandal, Chaplin continued to pursue young women. His third marriage was to Paulette Goddard, a rising star in Hollywood, who was 21 when they met, and Chaplin was 47. Though their marriage was kept relatively private and the age gap was not as stark as in his previous relationships, the pattern of significant age differences persisted. Chaplin's fourth and final marriage was to Una O'Neill, the daughter of playwright Eugene O'Neill. Una was just 18 when she married Chaplin, who was 54 at the time. This marriage, despite the age gap, proved to be the most stable and enduring of Chaplin's life. They remained together until Chaplin's death in 1977, and they had 8 children. Una's unwavering support and devotion seemed to bring Chaplin a semblance of the stability that had eluded him in his previous relationships. His preference for young women was not limited to his marriages. He was known to have numerous relationships with teenage girls throughout his life, often starting when the girls were still minors. This behavior, while not uncommon in the early 20th century, drew significant criticism and legal challenges. In one notable case, Chaplin faced a paternity suit from actress Joan Barry, who was 23 years younger than him. The case, which included allegations of coercion and manipulation, was widely covered by the media and further tarnished Chaplin's public image. The controversy surrounding Chaplin's relationships with young women has led to a complex legacy. On one hand, he is celebrated as a genius of early cinema, whose contributions to film and comedy are unparalleled. On the other hand, his personal life raises uncomfortable questions about the dynamics of power and exploitation. Chaplin's behavior reflects the broader societal attitudes of his time, where older men often pursued younger women, sometimes with dire consequences. Gloria Swanson's obsession with health and fasting. Gloria Swanson, one of Hollywood's most glamorous and enduring stars, was not only known for her striking beauty and acting prowess, but also for her intense dedication to health foods and fasting. Decades before the wellness industry became mainstream, Swanson was a pioneer in the realm of health and nutrition, turning her lifestyle into a fervent obsession that shaped her daily routines and public persona. Swanson's journey into the world of health foods and fasting began at a time when processed foods were becoming increasingly popular in America. Rejecting this trend, she delved into natural and organic eating habits, believing that what she consumed had a direct impact on her overall well-being and longevity. Her approach to diet was meticulous and uncompromising. She scrutinized every ingredient, ensuring that her meals were not only nutritious but also free from any artificial additives or preservatives. Her commitment to healthy foods extended beyond just eating organic produce. Swanson embraced a diet rich in raw vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds, long before such dietary choices became fashionable. She was particularly fond of juicing, often preparing fresh vegetable and fruit juices to maintain her energy and vitality. This dedication to a clean diet was not merely a fad for Swanson. It was a deeply ingrained lifestyle choice that she believed was essential for sustaining her health and beauty. In addition to her strict dietary habits, Swanson was a firm believer in the benefits of fasting. She would often embark on long fasts, abstaining from food for extended periods to cleanse her body and mind. These fasts were not just about physical health. Swanson saw them as a way to achieve mental clarity and spiritual renewal. Her fasting routines were rigorous, sometimes lasting several days, during which she would consume only water or freshly squeezed juices. This practice was unconventional and even controversial at the time, but Swanson was unwavering in her belief in its benefits. Swanson's obsession with health foods and fasting was also evident in her social interactions and public appearances. She often spoke about her dietary practices, sharing her knowledge and experiences with others. She became an advocate for healthy living, encouraging those around her to adopt similar habits. Her influence extended to her close circle of friends and colleagues in Hollywood, many of whom were inspired by her dedication and began to explore healthier lifestyles themselves. Her commitment to health was not without its challenges. Swanson faced skepticism and criticism from those who viewed her practices as extreme or unnecessary. However, she remained steadfast, confident in the knowledge that her choices were beneficial. Her dedication to health and wellness was a testament to her discipline and determination, qualities that also defined her illustrious career. Swanson's approach to health was holistic. She believed in the interconnectedness of physical, mental, and emotional well-being. This belief guided her lifestyle choices, from her diet and fasting routines to her emphasis on regular exercise and stress management. She practiced yoga and meditation, long before these practices became popular in the West, as part of her daily regimen to maintain balance and harmony in her life. Her obsession with health foods and fasting also influenced her work. Swanson often took on roles that reflected her personal beliefs, portraying characters who embodied strength, resilience, and a sense of well-being. Her off-screen persona, as a health-conscious and disciplined individual, became an integral part of her public image, distinguishing her from many of her contemporaries. She is often referred to as the Queen of Screams. That's a name she earned throughout her amazing career. But aside from her role in King Kong and a handful of horror films, most don't realize that she was a lot more than what she portrayed on screen. But first, a little background. Before the legendary career, in a quiet corner of Alberta, Canada, amidst vast ranch lands, a future Hollywood legend was born. Fay Wray's early life was far removed from the atmosphere or stardom or the silver screen, a fact that makes her eventual rise to stardom all the more fascinating. Born to devout members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Elvina Marguerite Jones and Joseph Heber Wray, Fay's roots were deeply embedded in the rugged terrain of the ranching world. Her mother hailed from Salt Lake City, Utah, while her father came from Kingston upon Hull, England, bringing with them a rich tapestry of ancestry from England, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Wales. Faye was one of 6 children in a family that valued hard work and faith, but the tranquility of the Alberta ranch was soon to be left behind. In 1912, the Ray family packed their belongings and dreams and moved to Salt Lake City, seeking new opportunities. 2 years later, they settled in the small mining town of Lark, Utah. However, the lure of the burgeoning film industry was irresistible, and in 1919, the Rays made their final move to Hollywood, California. It was here, amidst the backdrop of a rapidly growing entertainment hub, that Faye Ray's destiny began to take shape. She enrolled at Hollywood High School, where she was surrounded by the vibrant energy of aspiring actors and filmmakers. The transition from a ranch in Alberta to the epicenter of the movie industry might have seemed improbable, but not for Faye. The taste of stardom. At just 16, Faye Ray stepped into the flickering world of early cinema, making her film debut in a short historical film sponsored by a local newspaper in 1923. This first taste of acting sparked a passion that would propel her into the spotlight of Hollywood's silent film era. By the mid-1920s, she was appearing in silent films like The Coast Patrol, 1925, and taking on uncredited bit parts at the Hal Roach Studios, slowly carving out her niche in the industry. In 1926, Faye's burgeoning talent was recognized when she was selected as one of the Wampus Baby Stars by the Western Association of Motion Picture Advertisers. This prestigious group of young actresses was seen as the next big thing in Hollywood. At the time, Faye was under contract with Universal Studios, where she frequently co-starred in low-budget westerns alongside Buck Jones. These roles, though modest, helped her hone her craft and gain valuable screen experience. The following year, Faye's career took a significant turn when she signed a contract with Paramount Pictures. This move proved to be pivotal. In 1926, the legendary director Erich von Stroheim cast her as the leading lady in his ambitious film The Wedding March, which was released by Paramount 2 years later. Despite its high budget and lavish production values, the film was a financial flop. However, it marked a milestone for Faye, giving her the first lead role of her career and showcasing her ability to captivate audiences. Faye continued to thrive at Paramount, starring in more than a dozen films and smoothly transitioning from the silent film era to the advent of talkies. Her ability to adapt to the evolving cinematic landscape demonstrated her versatility and ensured her place in Hollywood history. Each role she took on brought her closer to the iconic status she would eventually achieve. The big break. After parting ways with Paramount, Faye Ray's career took a thrilling turn as she signed with several other film studios, delving into the genre that would make her a horror icon. She starred in Dr. X, 1932, and Mystery of the Wax Museum, 1933, films that showcased her ability to convey terror and vulnerability, securing her place in the annals of horror film history. However, it was her contract with RKO Radio Pictures that truly defined her legacy. Her first film with RKO was the suspenseful adventure The Most Dangerous Game, 1932, where she starred alongside Joel McCrea. The film's production was unique, as it was shot at night using the same jungle sets that were employed for another iconic project, King Kong, during the day. Faye and her co-star Robert Armstrong pulled double duty, starring in both movies simultaneously. Following The Most Dangerous Game, Faye Ray was catapulted to fame with the release of King Kong. Originally, the role of Ann Darrow, the beautiful blonde captivated by the giant ape, was intended for Jean Harlow. However, Harlow's exclusive contract with MGM made her unavailable, creating a golden opportunity for Faye. Director Marion C. Cooper saw Faye as the perfect choice for the role and offered her $10,000, equivalent to $200,000 today, to bring Ann Darrow to life. King Kong became a monumental success, etching itself into cinematic history as a groundbreaking achievement in special effects and storytelling. Faye Ray's portrayal of Ann Darrow was both haunting and iconic, her screams echoing through the halls of film legend. The movie not only captivated audiences worldwide, but also played a crucial role in saving RKO from the brink of bankruptcy. She was nicknamed the Queen of Screams. Fay Wray's journey to this chilling moniker began with her roles in a series of groundbreaking horror films. Her ability to convey genuine terror and vulnerability on screen was unparalleled. It all started with Dr. X, 1932, and Mystery of the Wax Museum, 1933, where her piercing screams and terrified expressions sent shivers down the spines of audiences. These films established her as a horror icon, but it was her unforgettable performance in King Kong that truly solidified her reign. In King Kong, 1933, Fay portrayed Anne Darrow, the damsel in distress who finds herself at the mercy of the giant ape. Her iconic scream as Kong scales the Empire State Building has become one of the most memorable moments in cinematic history. Audiences were captivated by her ability to project fear so convincingly, and her scream became synonymous with the horror genre. This role not only showcased her talent, but also cemented her as the quintessential scream queen. But Fay Wray's talents weren't confined to horror alone. She was also dubbed the Queen of the B's for her prolific work in B-list films. These lower-budget movies often didn't have the prestige of major studio productions, but they were a proving ground for many actors. Fay's presence elevated these films, bringing a touch of class and credibility to the B-movie circuit. Her versatility and dedication to her craft meant she could transition seamlessly between genres, captivating audiences in every role she took on. She stayed in a haunted hotel. Fay Wray often stayed at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, a legendary establishment known not only for its luxurious accommodations, but also for its chilling reputation. The hotel, located on Hollywood Boulevard, has long been rumored to be haunted by several ghosts, adding a spooky layer to Wray's Hollywood experience. Built in 1927, the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel quickly became a glamorous hotspot for the stars of the golden age of Hollywood. However, beneath its glitzy surface lies a history of eerie occurrences and ghostly sightings that have left guests and employees alike feeling unsettled. Fay Wray, who frequented the hotel during her career, became familiar with its haunted reputation. One of the most famous ghosts said to haunt the hotel is that of Marilyn Monroe, who lived at the Roosevelt for 2 years during her early career. Guests have reported seeing her reflection in a mirror in her old suite, now called the Marilyn Monroe Suite. The apparition of a blonde woman, often identified as Monroe, has been seen dancing in the hotel's ballroom, adding to the air of mystery. Another ghostly presence is that of actor Montgomery Clift, who stayed at the hotel while filming From Here to Eternity. His ghost is said to linger in room 928, where guests have heard the sound of a trumpet playing and felt a cold, eerie presence. Clift's ghost has also been spotted pacing the hallways, seemingly rehearsing his lines. The hotel's historic Blossom Room, where the first Academy Awards were held in 1929, is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Visitors have reported seeing the ghost of a man in a tuxedo, believed to be a lingering spirit from Hollywood's golden days. Disembodied voices, sudden temperature drops, and mysterious shadows are common occurrences in this area. For Fay Wray, staying at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel meant more than just enjoying its luxurious amenities and star-studded history. It meant experiencing the chilling ambiance that many believe comes from its ghostly residents. While there are no records of Wray personally encountering these spirits, the hotel's eerie reputation and the unsettling stories from other guests surely added a spine-tingling element to her stays. She received disturbing fan mails. During her illustrious career, Fay Wray received countless letters from admirers around the world. While many were simply expressions of appreciation and adulation, a significant number were deeply disturbing, revealing an unsettling side of fame that left her feeling vulnerable and unsafe. These letters ranged from obsessive declarations of love to menacing threats, painting a chilling picture of the darker aspects of celebrity. Her portrayal of the damsel in distress attracted many fans, some of whom developed unhealthy fixations. The anonymity of fan mail allowed these individuals to express their darkest thoughts without fear of immediate consequence, and the content of some letters crossed the line into terrifying territory. One particularly chilling letter allegedly read, "Dear Miss Wray, I have watched King Kong over and over, and every time I see you, I feel like you're speaking directly to me. You are my destiny, and we are meant to be together. If I can't have you, then no one else should. I will find you, and we will be united, one way or another." This letter, laced with obsession and a veiled threat, left Ray deeply unsettled. The fan's possessive tone and the insinuation of violence, if his desires were not met, highlighted the dangerous intensity of his fixation. Another disturbing letter reportedly contained the following: "You don't know me, but I know everything about you. I've been following your career for years, watching your every move. I dream of the day when I can take you away from all of this and keep you safe. You belong to me, and I will do whatever it takes to make you realize that." The letter's invasive nature and the stalker-like undertones were enough to make anyone's skin crawl. The flood of such letters created a persistent state of anxiety for Ray. The fact that these individuals had such intense emotions towards her, often without ever having met her, was deeply unsettling. The nature of fame made it impossible for her to know who among her fans could translate their written threats into real-world actions. Screams from her movies outlived her. Fay Wray's legendary performance in the 1933 classic King Kong didn't just catapult her to fame, it left an indelible mark on the horror genre itself. Her screams and shrieks, which so convincingly conveyed terror and helplessness, became iconic in their own right. What many fans might not realize is that these spine-chilling sounds didn't end with King Kong. They echoed through the corridors of cinematic history, finding their way into numerous other horror films over the years. When Ray first stepped into the role of Ann Darrow, the beautiful and terrified captive of the giant ape, she brought an authenticity to her performance that was unparalleled. Her screams were not just sound effects, they were visceral expressions of fear, capturing the raw emotion of a woman facing an unimaginable nightmare. These screams were so powerful and convincing that they became a valuable asset in the world of sound editing and film production. After the success of King Kong, these recordings were carefully archived, becoming a go-to resource for sound designers and editors in Hollywood. In the pre-digital era, creating realistic and impactful sound effects was a significant challenge. Ray's screams provided a perfect solution, offering a range of emotional intensity that could elevate the atmosphere of any horror scene. Throughout the 1930s and beyond, Fay Wray's iconic shrieks were repurposed in various films, sometimes subtly woven into the background, other times featured prominently to heighten the suspense and terror. These recycled sounds allowed new generations of filmmakers to benefit from Ray's extraordinary talent, adding a touch of classic horror magic to their projects. She has had multiple paranormal experiences. Ray recounted seeing apparitions on multiple occasions. One notable experience took place in her own home, where she claimed to see the ghostly figure of a man in old-fashioned clothing. The apparition appeared in her living room late at night, standing silently before vanishing without a trace. This sighting left Ray convinced that her house was haunted. Another eerie incident occurred while Ray was staying at a friend's house. She described waking up in the middle of the night to see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of her bed. The figure did not move or speak, but its presence filled her with an overwhelming sense of dread. When she turned on the light, the figure disappeared, leaving her shaken and unable to sleep for the rest of the night. Ray also experienced unexplained phenomena that she believed were connected to the supernatural. In one instance, she heard mysterious footsteps echoing through her house when she was alone. The footsteps seemed to follow her from room to room, stopping just outside the door whenever she tried to pinpoint their source. Despite a thorough search, she could find no explanation for the sounds. In another incident, Ray recounted objects moving on their own. She would find items that had been securely placed suddenly knocked over or moved to different locations. This scary activity was sporadic, but always left her feeling uneasy and watched. Her breakout role was cursed. The role of Ann Darrow in King Kong is said to carry a curse, with several actresses who have played the part experiencing significant personal and professional misfortunes. Fay Wray, who originated the role in the 1933 classic, had a life marked by dramatic highs and lows, fueling the legend of this Hollywood curse. Fay Wray's portrayal of Ann Darrow catapulted her to fame, but her career was never the same after King Kong. Despite her iconic status, she struggled to find roles that matched her initial success. Her personal life was equally tumultuous. She endured the tragedy of her first husband, screenwriter John Monk Saunders, committing suicide in 1940. This devastating event cast a long shadow over her life, contributing to periods of deep sorrow and emotional turmoil. The curse seemed to extend to subsequent actresses who took on the role of Anne Darrow. Jessica Lange played the part in the 1976 remake of King Kong. Although Lange's performance was praised, she faced a challenging career trajectory afterward. While she eventually found success and acclaim, her early career was fraught with difficulties and typecasting, which she struggled to overcome. Naomi Watts, who starred as Anne Darrow in the 2005 version of King Kong, also experienced a series of personal and professional setbacks following the film. Despite receiving critical acclaim for her performance, she faced a string of less successful projects and personal challenges, including a highly publicized breakup with actor Liev Schreiber. The notion of a curse is further fueled by the eerie parallels in the lives of these actresses. Each experienced intense scrutiny and pressure from the public and the media, and all dealt with personal hardships that seemed to overshadow their professional achievements. Near-death experiences on set were normal for her. Fay Wray's illustrious career in early Hollywood was fraught with danger, as the era's stunts and special effects often posed significant risks to the actors involved. Wray had several near-death experiences on film sets where the hazardous nature of filmmaking could have ended her life prematurely. One of the most harrowing incidents occurred during the filming of King Kong, 1933. In a scene where her character, Anne Darrow, is carried to the top of the Empire State Building by the giant ape, Wray was strapped into a small, precarious platform that was lifted high above the ground. The safety measures were minimal, and a single mistake could have led to a fatal fall. The intense winds and the swaying of the platform added to the terror, making the experience both physically and mentally exhausting for Wray. Another terrifying moment happened on the set of The Most Dangerous Game, 1932, where Wray was required to perform stunts involving fire and water. In one scene, she was trapped in a burning building and had to navigate through real flames to escape. The fire was not entirely controlled, and Wray narrowly avoided severe burns. In another scene, she was swept into a raging river, where she struggled against strong currents and sharp rocks. The film crew had limited safety protocols, and Wray came dangerously close to drowning. While filming Dr. X, 1932, Wray faced yet another perilous situation. In a scene involving a chemical explosion, the special effects team used real explosives to create the desired impact. The timing was crucial, and Wray had to perform her actions with split-second precision to avoid being caught in the blast. A minor miscalculation could have resulted in severe injuries or worse. Her work in The Vampire Bat, 1933, also exposed her to significant risks. In one particularly dangerous scene, she was required to hang from a high ledge while being pursued by the villain. The harness used to secure her was rudimentary and prone to failure. A slip or malfunction could have sent her plummeting to the ground, ending her career and life prematurely. She believed in ghosts. Wray firmly believed in ghosts and spirits and often shared stories of her own eerie experiences, which added a mysterious dimension to her already storied life. Wray's interest in the supernatural was deeply personal. She frequently spoke about feeling the presence of her deceased loved ones. After the tragic suicide of her first husband, John Monk Saunders, Wray claimed to sense his presence around her. She described moments when she felt a sudden chill or an inexplicable touch on her shoulder, which she interpreted as Saunders' spirit trying to communicate with her. These experiences, though comforting in their own way, were also profoundly unsettling. Another eerie encounter involved Wray's belief that her childhood home was haunted. She recounted stories of hearing unexplained footsteps in the hallway and whispers in empty rooms. One particularly chilling incident occurred when she saw the figure of a woman in a long dress standing at the foot of her bed. The apparition vanished when Wray tried to speak to it, leaving her convinced that she had witnessed a ghost. She also believed in the power of dreams as a conduit for supernatural communication. She often dreamt of her parents after they had passed away. In these dreams, they would offer her guidance and comfort, which she took as signs that they were watching over her. These vivid dreams reinforced her belief in an afterlife and the ongoing presence of her loved ones. Her fascination with the supernatural extended to her professional life as well. Wray was drawn to roles in horror and thriller films, which often explored themes of the unknown and the otherworldly. She believed that her own experiences with the supernatural gave her a unique understanding of the fear and awe that such phenomena inspired. From extramarital affairs to pure undiluted lust on set, some of the stars of Hollywood's golden age just couldn't help their attraction. But following your passions has its own consequences, and for these stars, a love child they were not expecting was the result of their trysts. The response to having love children differed between these talented stars. As a matter of fact, some kept it so much a secret that you'd be shocked when you find out the truth. Michael Lindsay Hogg. It is possible to hide an affair from the world, but the one thing that cannot be hidden is the striking resemblance between a child and his parents. Perhaps this was the reason why, no matter how much his mother denied it, Michael Lindsay Hogg believed that his father was not the man he grew up with. He had a gut feeling that his father was an actor he had seen a couple of times. If you have ever come across the mind-blowing artistic works of Michael Lindsay Hogg, you'll know that he is an embodiment of rare talent. Whether he is behind the scenes of films, theater, or music videos, he is the kind of director who stands out. But what if I told you that he probably got his creative abilities from his mother, Geraldine Fitzgerald, who was a talented old Hollywood actress? But that's not all. The man he suspected to be his father was none other than the legendary actor and director, Orson Welles. So, this leaves us with the question, why did Michael grow up believing that he was fathered by the famous actor? Well, let's go back to how it all started. In the 1930s, Michael's mother, Geraldine Fitzgerald, was a well-known actress. She was one of the actresses who captivated audiences at the time through her roles in films like Dark Victory and Poltergeist. Because she was famous, everyone knew she was married to Sir Edward Lindsay Hogg. However, it was later rumored that she got into a brief affair with Orson Welles, who was married to Virginia Nicholson at the time. It was said that they were so attracted to each other that they moved their families to the same neighborhood so that they would be able to see each other often. This steamy affair allegedly led to the birth of Michael Lindsay Hogg. Because the families lived close to each other, Michael grew up alongside his alleged half-sister, Christopher Wells Feeder. It will amaze you to know that Christopher once said that she always felt a sibling connection with Michael, but she could never explain why. When Michael began to suspect that Orson Welles was his biological father, he approached his mother, but she denied over and over again. Despite the fact that she denied the rumors, Michael saw through her and believed that she wasn't telling the truth. Although she took this secret to her grave, Michael was hell-bent on finding answers no matter how difficult it was. When he got older, he made up his mind to find the truth once and for all. He would later take a DNA test, and while some reports claimed that the test confirmed Olson was his father, other reports claimed that it was inconclusive. But perhaps the words of his mother's trusted friend, Gloria Vanderbilt, gave him the closure he needed. Gloria confirmed to Michael that Olson was indeed his biological father. One can only imagine the confusion and uncertainty young Michael nursed while growing up. It's good to know that he finally has some closure about the issue. Although his past was undoubtedly tumultuous and his parentage was undoubtedly complicated, Michael has grown to be a talented man. Michael Lindsay Hogg, he is not like any other director you have seen before. You name it, he's done it. Film, TV, music videos, you name it. Remember the Beatles' rooftop concert in Let It Be? Yep, he captured that magic. And those iconic Beatles promo videos for Hey Jude and Revolution, his genius at work. But it's not just the Beatles. He's rocked with the Rolling Stones and jammed with Elton John, directing some seriously cool music videos. On the small screen, he's dipped his toes into classics like Brideshead Revisited and brought a touch of class to The Equalizer. And let's not forget his work in film, from the intriguingly titled Nasty Habits to the suspenseful The Sound of Murder. He's like the ultimate directorial all-rounder, spinning his magic across the entertainment universe for decades. This love child has grown to be a man who has fought to make his dreams come true. Judy Lewis. In an industry where everyone seems to know everyone's secret, the paternity of young Judy Lewis became a source of whispers and gossip. There was no denying that she looked like the then-famous actor Clark Gable, but she grew up believing that she was an adopted child. It all started when Gable and Loretta's parts crossed amidst the dazzling lights and opulent sets. Initially, they were just colleagues, but as time went on, they began to fall for each other. Clark Gable, the dashing king of Hollywood, and Loretta Young, the enchanting leading lady, could no longer hide how they felt about each other. Their on-screen chemistry was palpable, but it was behind closed doors where their passion truly ignited. away from the watchful eyes of studio executives and gossip columnists. Amidst the breathtaking landscapes of film sets, their affair flourished, defying the moral codes and societal norms of the time. Loretta, with her starry eyes and porcelain beauty, found herself swept away by Gable's charm. Considering her reputation, no one would have thought that Loretta Young would find herself entangled with Clark Gable. Loretta Young was widely regarded as a woman of strong moral character throughout her career in Hollywood. She was known for her grace, poise, and dedication to her craft. Young was often praised for her professionalism and integrity, both on and off the screen. She maintained a wholesome image and was perceived as a role model for many, particularly during the more conservative era of Hollywood. One can say she was a morally upright individual. Clark Gable, on the other hand, didn't have a spotless reputation. His reputation is a bit more complex. While he was undoubtedly one of the most charismatic and talented actors of his time, Gable was also known for his somewhat tumultuous personal life. He had multiple marriages and was rumored to have engaged in extramarital affairs. Despite this, Gable maintained a strong work ethic and was respected for his dedication to his craft. However, his personal life often overshadowed his professional achievements, leading to a more mixed perception of his morality compared to Loretta Young. Although they probably intended to keep their affair a secret forever, something happened that brought their secret love to light. This was the birth of their live child, Judy Lewis. Judy's existence remained hidden from the scrutinizing gaze of an industry built on illusions and perfection. Loretta, determined to protect her child from judgment, went to great lengths to conceal the truth, confiding only in the inner circles of Hollywood's elite. But as time went on, people began to notice. They could hide their affair, but the one thing they couldn't hide was the resemblance between Judy and her father, Clark Gable. But in order to keep their secret hidden, Loretta Young told her child that she was adopted. It was when Judy was 15 years old that she met her father for the first time. He came over to Loretta Young's house, but there was no discussion about whether or not Gable was her father. Judy grew up believing that she was indeed adopted and tried to ignore the rumors about her paternity. Yet, as fate would have it, secrets have a way of surfacing. The revelation of Judy Lewis as the love child of Clark Gable and Loretta Young rocked the very foundation of Hollywood glamour. It was said that Judy found out that the famous actor was indeed her father, and not just her mother's friend on her wedding day. Judy, who was 31 years old at that time, confronted her mother and demanded nothing but the truth on her wedding day. Her mother, filled with emotions and regret, finally revealed the truth to her daughter. Judy, now a young woman, unveiled the long-guarded secret. As expected, the revelation sparked a media frenzy, casting a shadow on the shining reputation of one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men. She would later write an autobiography called Uncommon Knowledge, confirming that she was indeed Clark Gable's child. Roberto Ingmar Rossellini. For several years, Ingrid Bergman made a name for herself as an iconic movie star. She started her career with German and Swedish films, and it wasn't long before Hollywood noticed her. But just when she transitioned into Hollywood and started making waves, she fell in love with a director and began a secret love affair. Ingrid Bergman was a phenomenal actress who was gracing screens for the most part of the late 1930s. Not only was she known for her mind-blowing performances, but filmmakers who worked with her testified that she was a highly talented actress who was willing to go above and beyond to bring her roles to life. Her career skyrocketed in the year 1936 when she played a lead role in the film Intermezzo. She would later appear in Intermezzo, a Love Story, which was her first acting role in the U.S. However, her life took an unexpected turn when she met a director called Roberto Rossellini in the mid-1940s. Following a letter she wrote him, he came to visit her in her home in the United States, and before she knew it, she began to have feelings for him. Interestingly, Ingrid was married to her first husband, Peter Lindstrom, at the time, and they had a daughter together. So, exploring the spark between her and the director would automatically be a taboo. What made it even worse was the fact that they were both married and had feelings for each other at a time when morals and family values were a big deal. It wasn't long before the pair decided to damn the consequences and fully explore the feelings they had for each other. Initially, they were able to hide their affair, but after a while, people began to notice. What made the whole thing even more shocking was that Ingrid had the reputation of a saint. She was one of the few actresses who didn't do cosmetic enhancements and was always praised for her naturalness. She only posed for decent pictures and made sure she didn't soil her reputation. When the news of her affair began circulating in the tabloids, people were beyond shocked. She was condemned by religious bodies, political bodies, and even people once called fans. She was no longer given roles because filmmakers were afraid that her presence in a film would lead to a ban. She was called an adulterous woman, and all kinds of mean things were said about her. But despite all the condemnation, Ingrid and Rossellini's affair only waxed stronger. The director would later divorce his wife for Ingrid, but Ingrid's attempts to leave her husband led to a messy legal battle. Her husband didn't let her go without putting up a fight. Soon enough, she got pregnant and gave birth to their first child in a hospital in Rome on the 2nd of February 1950. They were still unmarried at the time. Back in the day, it was like an abomination for a child to be born out of wedlock, so studios and movie stars did their best to hide love children, but Ingrid and Rossellini decided not to hide any longer. Sadly, this child, who was supposed to mark the beginning of a new chapter in their lives, actually led to an international uproar. It was said that U.S. Senator Edwin C. denounced the actress on the floor of the Senate and called her a disgrace to American womanhood. As if this was not enough, her home country also condemned her actions, highlighting that she disgraced her country. Just like that, this actress, who was once loved and admired, became hated all over the world. Despite all these, Ingrid loved her child, and shortly after, she got married to Roberto Rossellini. Their first son, who is now in his 70s, was said to have worked as an Italian real estate investor and a stockbroker when he was younger. Jack Nicholson. It is nearly impossible to be a fan of Hollywood movies and not come across at least one Jack Nicholson film. This is a cinematic legend whose contributions to film have left an indelible impact on audiences worldwide. There is no denying performances, memorable characters, and unparalleled talent have solidified his place in cinematic history. But what a lot of people may not know is that Jack Nicholson is also a love child. He grew up believing that his mother June was his sister, and that his grandmother Ethel May was his biological mother because of a difficult decision that his mother had to make when he was a baby. But how did this happen? What made Jack Nicholson believe that his mother was his sister? It all began in April 1937 when Jack Nicholson came into this world, but his beginnings were far from ordinary. His father, Donald Fursillo, was already married when he fell in love with a young girl and got her pregnant. Clearly, being involved with a girl who was way younger than him was forbidden, and making it public was only going to get him into trouble. But Donald Fursillo couldn't hide his feelings for this girl, and he wanted to step up and do the right thing, so he decided that he was going to marry her. He set the plan in motion and tied the knot with 17-year-old showgirl June "Dink" Nicholson. But it was only when she said, "I do," that she found out that this Italian-American showman, Donald Fursillo, was keeping a big secret. Immediately, their fresh union was entangled by controversy, taboos, secrets, and lies, because not only was June underage, but Donald already had a wife. Despite this, Don really wanted to take responsibility for his child, and he didn't want June to raise Jack alone. Although Donald's intentions seemed pure, June didn't buy the idea. As soon as she found out that he was already married, she started looking for other ways to ensure that her child was well taken care of. As a young girl who was trying to make ends meet, she knew for a fact that she wouldn't be able to cater to the needs of her child, so she decided to make a difficult decision, which was sending Jack to live with her own parents instead. Because he began living with his grandparents at an early age, Jack grew up believing that his grandparents, Ethel and John Nicholson, were his parents. No matter how tempting it was, his mother never told him the truth about his biological parents. She treated him like a brother, even on days when she was yearning to play the role of a mother. It wasn't until he was 37 years old in 1974 that he discovered the truth. Imagine finding out at that age that the people you thought were your parents were actually your grandparents. It must have been a shock, but the surprises in Jack's life didn't end there. He had quite a colorful romantic life himself. He was married to Sandra Knight in the 1960s, and they had a daughter named Jennifer. But Jack's relationships weren't always conventional. He had affairs, one of which resulted in a daughter named Honey Holman. Honey was born during his 17-year relationship with actress Angelica Houston. Imagine the complexities of growing up in such a situation. Jack also had another daughter named Lorraine from another affair during his relationship with Angelica. Her mother was Rebecca Broussard, who was actually an actress in one of Jack's films, The Two Jakes. Talk about drama both on and off the screen. And the surprises don't stop there. Actress Susan Anspach even claimed that Jack Nicholson might be the father of her son, Caleb Goddard. It seems like Jack's life was just as dramatic and intriguing as the movies he starred in. But despite his issues about his parentage, Jack Nicholson didn't allow himself to become a victim of his past. Over the years, he healed from whatever trauma the situation may have caused him and went on to create an amazing career. Today, Jack Nicholson is known as a renowned American actor, filmmaker, and producer who has left an indelible mark on the world of cinema. Nicholson's career spans several decades, and he is celebrated for his versatility, intensity, and iconic performances across a wide range of genres. He is perhaps best known for his captivating portrayals of complex and morally ambiguous characters. One of his most iconic roles came in the 1975 film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where he played the rebellious and charismatic Randall McMurphy, a patient in a mental institution. This performance earned Nicholson his first Academy Award for Best Actor, solidifying his status as one of the greatest actors of his generation. But he didn't stop there. He kept on pouring into his craft and creating in a mind-blowing way. Another landmark role for Nicholson was in Stanley Kubrick's 1980 horror classic, The Shining, where he delivered a chilling and unforgettable performance as Jack Torrance, a writer driven to madness while serving as the winter caretaker of the haunted Overlook Hotel. Throughout his illustrious career, Nicholson has showcased his remarkable range in films such as Chinatown, Terms of Endearment, Batman, As Good as It Gets, and About Schmidt, among many others. Isn't it amazing that Jack Nicholson became everything he ever dreamed of becoming and never allowed his past to dictate his future? From his unconventional parentage to his colorful romantic life, Jack's story is one that keeps people captivated. Who would have thought that behind that iconic smile lay such a fascinating tale? Allegra Houston. If you asked young Allegra Houston who her dad was, she would tell you that he was none other than the famous director, John Huston. Why? Because for as long as she could remember, he was the man she called Dad. But as she grew older, she became uncertain and began to wonder if Huston was really her father. Born on the 26th of August, 1964, Allegra was the product of an affair her mother Enrica had with John Julius Norwich, the Viscount of Norwich. However, Allegra grew up believing that she was the daughter of the famous film director John Huston. Growing up, Allegra had no doubt that John Huston was her biological father. She was raised in a world where she thought she was part of his family, with siblings who shared the same name. But her life took a surprising turn when she discovered the truth about her parentage. It wasn't until later in life that Allegra learned about her true biological father and the circumstances surrounding her birth. Her mother, Enrica, was married to John Huston for several years, but in the early 1960s, they had a major marital problem, and they became estranged. It was during this period that Enrica began an affair with John Norwich. Their affair would later lead to her getting pregnant and giving birth to Allegra. Tragically, her mother, Enrica, passed away in a car accident in 1969, and Allegra was only 4 years old at the time. Despite the loss, John Huston stepped in and raised Allegra as his own daughter, showing immense love and devotion. A lot of people were shocked that he raised someone else's child like his old child. Imagine the emotions Allegra must have felt when she discovered the truth. How did she react? How did she come to terms with having two fathers and two sets of siblings? These are questions that likely ran through her mind as she navigated this complex family dynamic. Allegra eventually found solace in writing her autobiography, Love Child, a memoir of family lost and found. In this memoir, she didn't hold back as she delved into her unique upbringing, exploring the complexities of her identity as both American and English, and the challenges she faced growing up with this secret. But Allegra has not allowed her past to define her. She is now a successful writer, carving her own path in the world of literature. Despite the challenges she faced, she has embraced her past while building a fulfilling future of her own. While Joe Jackson, Michael Jackson's father, was busy disciplining his children and trying to make stars out of them, he had a little girl that no one knew about. His priority was to do everything in his power to spoil her rotten and keep her existence a secret. In the 60s, Joe Jackson became well known for his efforts to push his children in the direction of music. He desperately wanted his children to become famous and established musicians, and he was willing to do everything in his power to make this dream come to life. Seeing himself as their talent manager, Joe Jackson treated his children like they were his clients, forcing them to engage in long and intense rehearsals and forcing them to call him by his first name. While his efforts to make his kids successful in the industry were absolutely normal, as any parent would want their child to succeed, it was later revealed that he sometimes used harsh methods to get his kids in line. In a 1993 interview, Michael Jackson said his father subjected them to all kinds of physical punishments. He said he and his siblings grew up feeling lonely and distant from their father. It seemed like all he was concerned about was them becoming stars. While all this was happening, Michael Jackson, his mother, and siblings had no idea that Joe Jackson had another family somewhere else. In the early 70s, Joe Jackson met a beautiful secretary called Cheryl Terrell, and this single meeting led to a 25-year affair and a love child, Giovanni Jackson. Cheryl was in her 20s when she met Joe Jackson. At the time, she worked as a secretary for the police department in Los Angeles. On one fateful day, Joe Jackson was invited to LAPD's Christmas party, and that was where she met him. During the party, a friend of hers introduced her to Joe Jackson, but she had no idea who he was. She had never heard of him before. When they got talking, Joe Jackson showed her his charming and romantic side. He bought her gifts often, and soon enough, Joe's smooth talking and romantic gestures got to Cheryl. Her daughter would later reveal that Cheryl wasn't sure she liked Joe Jackson. She just decided to give the relationship a try. As expected, the 20-year age gap between them was very unsettling, especially for her family. Joe Jackson was the same age as Cheryl's mother, not to mention the fact that he was married at the time to Katherine Jackson. But despite all these, Joe Jackson was relentless. He did all that he could to keep Cheryl by his side. In a later interview, Giovanni revealed that her mother was not an obsessed fan like people thought she was. Joe Jackson was the one who did all the chasing. In Giovanni's words, "My mother is an attractive lady, and he saw her and had to have her. He did all the chasing. Daddy had to keep up with my mother. She was very independent, and he liked that." The affair between Joe Jackson and Cheryl led to her getting pregnant, and when this happened, he decided to stay by her side and take care of their child. However, he had to do this discreetly so that his wife and kids wouldn't find out that he had a second family. It was later revealed that he had an entirely different life away from the spotlight with his mistress and daughter in a house that was about 5 miles from his marital home in Encino, California. He would visit them often, take them on vacations, and lavish his daughter with gifts. All the while, he lied to his wife that he was traveling for business meetings. How he managed to keep this a secret for so long is still a mystery. His daughter explained that Joe Jackson always warned her not to tell anyone about her life. She rarely has friends, and he did everything he could to hide her and her mother from prying eyes. Her entire life was hush-hush. There were places she could not visit in her neighborhood, grocery stores they could never shop at, secrets she could never reveal. Joe Jackson lived with a permanent fear of being caught. He knew that if a reporter or a loved one saw him, his secret would be out in the open. As a result of this, she didn't exactly have a normal childhood, but Joe Jackson made sure he showered her with love. In her words, "He was very much a presence in my life. I was a daddy's girl. I would be so excited. He would bring me presents, my favorite black walnut ice cream. I was spoiled rotten." Decades later, the news about her existence got out. It was certainly a hard pill to swallow, but as time went by, the Jackson family accepted her. Joe Jackson's wife, who was painfully hurt about the affair, and the love child ended up forgiving her husband and taking him back. Giovanni wrote a book titled Bastard Child, detailing her true story and what being raised by Joe Jackson was like. Ronan Farrow, Frank Sinatra's look-alike. Have you ever come across a picture of Ronan Farrow, Mia Farrow's son? You know, the one with the piercing blue eyes that happens to have a striking resemblance to the very famous singer and actor Frank Sinatra? Over the years, the 36-year-old journalist has made a name for himself through his works, and he is even known as one of the journalists who passionately did the investigative reporting on allegations of sexual abuse against the movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. His reports would later be published in the New York Magazine. Now, while this young man is clearly passionate about what he does for a living, the suspicions about his alleged paternity have haunted him for the most part of his life. Although he grew up knowing without a shadow of doubt that Woody Allen was his father, the resemblance between him and the legendary singer Frank Sinatra cannot be ignored. The interesting part about this story is that his mother, Mia Farrow, was married to Frank Sinatra several years before she had Ronan. Some people believe that even after their divorce, she kept on having an affair with Frank Sinatra, which resulted in the birth of Ronan in 1987. Some statements she has made have also fueled the suspicions that people have about Ronan's alleged father. In 2013, while speaking to Vanity Fair, Mia Farrow said that she and Frank Sinatra never really split up. This revelation got people wondering whether she kept on having a long affair with Sinatra even after their divorce. The pair met initially on the 20th Century lot in the mid-1960s, and it was like love at first sight. However, Mia Farrow was only 19 years old at the time, and Frank Sinatra was already in his 50s. As expected, their 31-year age gap raised many eyebrows, but they didn't really care. They were too in love to be influenced by the voice of society. 2 years later, they tied the knot at a Las Vegas hotel in 1966. Mia Farrow was 21 years old at the time. Although it seemed like their marriage was going to work, Mia Farrow later claimed that she was too young and immature for such a serious commitment. She also revealed that Frank Sinatra wasn't exactly okay with the fact that she was working. He would often tell her this: "I'm a pretty good provider. I can't see why a woman would want to do anything else." Their marriage soon ended in a divorce in 1968, but the pair remained close friends. Mia Farrow would later get into a relationship and eventually marry Woody Allen. The pair had over 9 children, one of them being Ronan Farrow. But as he got older, people began to question if Woody Allen was truly his father because of the striking resemblance between him and Frank Sinatra. Although his parents and close family members are convinced that Woody Allen is his father, some people still have their doubts. Despite the suspicions, Ronan Farrow has decided to dismiss the suspicions. He has also vehemently refused to carry out DNA analysis to find out if Frank Sinatra is truly his father. In his words, Woody Allen, legally, ethically, and personally, was absolutely a father in our family. Although Ronan doesn't seem to care much about finding the truth, his mother has made some statements in interviews that suggest that she may have been involved with Frank Sinatra after their divorce. In a 2013 interview, Mia Farrow claimed that Ronan could possibly be the son of Frank Sinatra. Judging by her words, there is a high chance that Ronan is in fact Frank Sinatra's son. Carol Ann, Chaplin's baby. For a long time, Charlie Chaplin was known as a wholesome actor who became a household name through his roles, especially his famous tramp character. But after several years of building a successful career, some secrets about his personal life were revealed. Not only was Chaplin rumored to prefer significantly younger girls, he also allegedly got a young woman pregnant and denied it. Now, as a result of this, there were several pictures of the cute child all over the media and media reports that showed Chaplin refusing to take responsibility. He was convinced that he wasn't the father of the child, but this young woman continued to insist that Chaplin fathered her child. It all began in the early 1940s. While Chaplin was still married to his third wife, Paulette Goddard, he met a young and talented actress, and he was instantly drawn to her. She was beautiful, and she seemed like a promising actress, so he took her under his wing and eventually contracted her for an upcoming film titled Shadows and Substance. Chaplin and this actress named Joan Barry later got romantically involved with each other. There was no way Chaplin could deny having an affair with her, because as soon as she served him with a palimony suit, investigations began, and these led to revelations uncovered by the FBI. According to FBI documents, Chaplin told Barry to meet up with him in Los Angeles in 1942, paid for her plane ticket, and as soon as she got there, they began doing romantic activities. Barry also revealed that not only did they attend numerous parties together, she claimed that Chaplin convinced her to get romantically involved with other people, making her available to other men for immoral purposes. The pair also engaged in sexual acts several times in December of that year, and Barry believed that one of those times led to her daughter, Carol Ann, being conceived. The baby Carol Ann was born on the 2nd of October, 1943. When Joan Barry informed Chaplin and he claimed he wasn't the father, she became furious. Not only did she accuse him of violating the Mann Act, but she also fought tooth and nail to prove that he was the father of her child. Over 3 blood tests were carried out, and all the results showed that Chaplin wasn't the father, but Joan believed that the medical professionals who carried out these tests were compromised. So she decided to fight harder, and this led to 2 trials. In the second one, a jury voted 11-1 that Chaplin was indeed the father of Joan Barry's child. As a result of this, Chaplin had to pay child support, and although he tried appealing, he lost. Liv Tyler, a case of hidden paternity. Remember Arwen from The Lord of the Rings? Did you know that she is Steve Tyler and Bebe Buell's love child? Bebe Buell was a model who gained fame in the 1970s for her relationships with rock musicians, notably Todd Rundgren. She moved to New York in 1972 after signing with a modeling agency and became known for her liaisons with various musicians. During this time, she also pursued a music career, recording an EP and forming a band called The B-Sides. She was extremely passionate about music, and she certainly had a thing for musicians. From 1972 to 1979, Buell was in a long-term relationship with Todd Rundgren. However, in 1976, she became pregnant after a brief relationship with Steven Tyler, the lead singer of Aerosmith. This was the beginning of a complicated paternity dilemma. When Buell gave birth to her daughter, Liv Rundgren, in 1977, she claimed Rundgren as Liv's father on the birth certificate, citing Tyler's well-known struggles with drug addiction at the time. She didn't think Tyler was fit to raise her daughter, so she raised Liv to believe that her father was Rundgren. Liv didn't learn the truth about her paternity until she was around 11 years old. Upon noticing the resemblance between herself and Steven Tyler, she confronted her mother, and the truth was revealed. However, Buell kept the information private until Liv publicly acknowledged Steven Tyler as her father in 1991, changing her surname from Rundgren to Tyler. Buell's decision to initially claim Rundgren as Liv's father was due to concern for Liv's well-being, as Tyler was deeply involved in drug addiction during that period. Despite this, Liv and Steven Tyler have since developed a close relationship, and they've even collaborated professionally. Liv has expressed gratitude towards both Tyler and Rundgren, acknowledging Rundgren as a father figure in her life and maintaining a strong bond with both men. She is grateful for the gift of 2 phenomenal men that have become her father figures. Liv Tyler, the daughter of Bebe Buell and Steven Tyler, has risen to prominence as a successful actress in both film and television. She began her career at a young age, starting with modeling at just 14 years old. Her debut in the film industry came in 1994 with Silent Fall. However, it was her roles in films like Heavy and Empire Records in 1995 that garnered her critical acclaim. Her versatility as an actress was evident as she took on diverse roles in films like Armageddon in 1998, which became a major box office success. One of Tyler's most iconic roles came in the early 2000s when she portrayed the elf Arwen Undomiel in Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings film trilogy from 2001-2003. The trilogy not only solidified her status as a talented actress, but also became one of the highest-grossing film series in history, further boosting her fame. After her success with The Lord of the Rings, Tyler continued to showcase her acting prowess in a variety of roles. She appeared in films like Jersey Girl in 2004 and The Incredible Hulk in 2008, displaying her range across different genres. There is no denying that Liv Tyler is an amazing actress. Scott Eastwood, The Eastwood Legacy. All his life, Scott Eastwood has been determined to make a name for himself, and one of the reasons why he did this was because his father trained him to be a man who can carve his own path. It is impossible to not notice the striking resemblance between the talented actor Scott Eastwood and the legend Clint Eastwood. It is not a secret that Scott is his son, but not many people know about the fact that Clint Eastwood, who was a married man, began a dangerous affair with a lady back in the 80s. This affair would later lead to the birth of Scott Eastwood in 1986. This is how it all began. In the 80s, when Clint Eastwood was gaining success in the industry, he was on top of the world. There were very few actors who could match his skills, and there was no denying that he was a big deal. As his fame grew, Clint got married to Maggie Johnson, but soon enough the cracks in their marriage began to show. It was said that while he was married to Maggie Johnson, he met a flight attendant that completely captured his attention. Her name was Jocelyn Reeves. She was living her life and focusing on her work when she met Clint Eastwood, who was already a star. Although there are no in-depth details about how they met, it was said that they later started an affair that lasted for a while. But this affair didn't just end in steamy romance. Jocelyn got pregnant for Clint, not once, but twice. First, they had Scott, then his sister Catherine after that. Unlike many fathers who abandon or deny children that they gave birth to out of wedlock, Clint took responsibility from the start and made up his mind to take care of his children. He wasn't just some absentee dad. He was still a huge part of Scott's life. He and his sister certainly felt his presence as he made sure he provided for them and taught them valuable life lessons. Scott practically grew up on his dad's ranch up in Northern California and spent so much time on his movie sets that he can't even remember his first visit to one. It was the time he spent watching his father on sets that sparked a desire in him to pursue acting. He fell in love with the craft and knew that if his father could succeed in the industry, he could do the same. However, Scott didn't expect his father to pave the way for him. When Scott decided to dive into the acting world himself, he wanted to do it on his own terms. So he started using his mom's last name, Reeves, for auditions. He needed to prove himself without riding on his dad's fame. He also knew his father well. Clint was never one to hand out favors left and right. Growing up during the Great Depression and experiencing poverty firsthand made him tough. He had to work extra hard for everything he had, and he made sure his children did the same. Scott had to hustle just like anyone else. He worked his way through Santa Barbara City College. His father made sure that he learned the value of money by making him pay his way through school and supporting him along the way. Because Scott started from scratch just like everyone else, he faced the tough early years of his career head-on. To make ends meet, he was slinging drinks at a bar near his home in San Diego by night, and by day he was busy hustling to auditions in LA, hoping he would get a big break. But you know what? All that hard work paid off. Scott carved out his own path in the industry and became a pretty big deal in his own right. He's not just Clint Eastwood's son. He's Scott Eastwood, making a name for himself both on screen and off. Scott has successfully built a solid career, landing significant roles in various genres. He has appeared in action films like Fury alongside Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf, as well as in romantic dramas like The Longest Ride. Like his father, Scott takes his work seriously and does not fail to put his best into every role. Scott's commitment to his craft and his willingness to take on diverse roles have contributed to his rising success in Hollywood. He has continued to build his resume with notable projects, including Suicide Squad in 2016 and Pacific Rim Uprising in 2018, among others. Beyond his work in front of the camera, Scott has also ventured into producing and directing. His dedication to storytelling and his willingness to explore different aspects of the industry reflects his passion for filmmaking. He is truly his father's son and feels fulfilled knowing that he built his career by himself. Jonathan Berkeley. Some know Tom Jones as that respected judge on The Voice UK with a seasoned voice, while others know him by his accomplishments in the industry. The Welsh singer is no doubt one of the most phenomenal singers Hollywood has ever produced. With a career that has spanned decades, the singer was known to have a string of top 10 hits in the 1960s and has successfully sold over 100 million records over the years. While his accomplishments are undoubtedly impressive, there is a side of Tom Jones's life that most people find daunting. Beyond the fame and his many accomplishments as a singer, Jones spent most of his early years in Hollywood doing things that a married man should not be seen doing. His many affairs with several women left his wife broken-hearted, and one of the affairs resulted in a son, Jonathan Berkeley. Tom Jones married high school love Linda Trenchard in the 1950s, before his career took off. Although they were madly in love with each other, nothing prepared them for the challenges that would unfold in their marriage. The first few years of their marriage seemed normal until Jones became a successful singer and the rumors about his infidelity began to circulate. Interestingly, Tom Jones didn't deny the rumors as he claimed to have had affairs with over 250 women in a single year when his career was at its peak. It seems like his fame came with a lot of attention from women and he was unable to control himself. The singer even had affairs with famous American women, some of whom he named later on in life. His deeds left his wife devastated, and soon enough, he got into an affair that came with consequences. While the singer was on tour in the U.S., he began an affair with a model named Catherine Berkeley. He probably thought it was going to be like one of his numerous affairs, but soon enough, Catherine Berkeley got pregnant. When he was informed about the pregnancy, he denied it, claiming that he didn't get her pregnant. Despite his refusal to take responsibility, Catherine was convinced that he was the father of her child. Tom Jones continued to ignore her as he believed that she was lying against him. Catherine Berkeley would later take the matter to court, and after a legal battle, Tom Jones was ordered to take a DNA test in 1989. After the test, the court ruled that Jones was the father of the boy. The court also ordered him to pay child support of $3,000 a month for the child's upkeep. But despite the court's verdict, Jones continued to deny the boy until 2008, when he finally admitted that he was the father of the boy. However, he said that he was coerced into the affair, claiming that Catherine Berkeley deceived him. In a later interview, he said, "It wasn't something I had planned. I was tricked, really. I just fell for it. I just fell for the seduction." It is said that he doesn't have a parental relationship with his son, who is now in his 30s. Eric Preminger, A Vow of Silence. Back in the 1940s, Gypsy Rose Lee was a name that was known all over Hollywood for many reasons. One of these reasons was the fact that she had an affair with a famous producer, which led to the birth of a love child named Eric. But before her life got complicated, she was a young woman who liked to live life on the edge. Gypsy wasn't just an actress and playwright. She had gone ahead to carve her own path through her famous striptease act. Gypsy considered herself to be an exotic stripper, and she usually found ways to make her act more interesting. She was also famous for her on-stage wit and stripping style. She would go on to become one of the most famous stars of Minsky's burlesque, but dancing was not all she did. In the 1930s, she was focused on growing her acting career, but only got to appear in 5 films. Although she was highly ambitious, she didn't get much success on screen, so she decided to relocate to New York City with plans to hone her skills and hopefully improve her career. On getting there, she got into an affair with the then-famous producer Mike Todd. It was said that Mike Todd was married to Bertha Freshman at the time. The affair would later lead to collaboration as the pair co-produced the 1942 musical revue, Star and Garter. It was during this period that she met Williams Alexander Kirkland. Kirkland was a leading man in Hollywood, particularly during the early sound era. In the early years of his career, he worked as a freelance writer and was said to be one of the writers who contributed to some popular national magazines. He garnered most of his fame through his acting career, appearing as a leading in Tarnished Lady and entertaining his audiences through movies like Social Register. He was still making waves as an actor when he met Gypsy. The pair got married in 1942, but their union didn't last long. While Gypsy was married to Kirkland, she got into an affair with the then-famous film producer, Otto Preminger. It was said that Otto Preminger's marriage to his wife Marion was shaky at the time. He was still married, but living like a bachelor. When he and Gypsy got into an affair, they intended to keep it a secret, but their affair didn't stay hidden for long. When Gypsy got pregnant, she knew she had to find a way to hide what she had done so that her husband would not find out. So, when Otto Preminger offered to take care of the child, she refused. His silence was far more valuable to her than any amount of money he was offering, so she elicited a vow of silence, pleading with Preminger to keep the secret between them. When she gave birth to the child, she named him Eric Kirkland, and her husband believed he was the father of the child. However, the truth eventually came out, and this led to the end of her marriage to Kirkland. Damian Charles Hurley. In the early 1980s, 18-year-old Steve Bing was given an inheritance that automatically made him wealthier than most celebrities at the time. He inherited over $600 million from his grandfather, who was a real estate developer, and went on to become one of the most successful film producers in Hollywood in the following years. But despite all the wealth he amassed, he rejected a son that he fathered with an actress, claiming that he was not the father of the child. Although he was wealthy, Bing was the kind of man who only channeled his resources to ventures and things that he considered important or profitable, and when it came to his personal life, many people questioned his personal choices. In the entertainment industry, he made waves through his company, Shangri-La Entertainment. He is also said to have invested in the successful animated film called The Polar Express. Bing also produced films like Last Man Standing, and it was clear that made smart investment choices in the industry. However, when he was not being a financier or working as a producer in the industry, he was settling his personal issues. Of all the scandals that circulated about the producer, denying the paternity of his child was the most shocking. In 2001, The producer got into a relationship with actress Elizabeth Hurley, and this relationship led to her getting pregnant. From every indication, Bing wanted nothing to do with the child, so he told Elizabeth to terminate the pregnancy. The actress refused and decided to keep the baby, hoping that Bing would come around. When the baby was born, Bing denied paternity, claiming that he and Elizabeth had an 18-month-long relationship that was not exclusive. He believed that she was not faithful to him while they were dating, so he doubted that the child was his. Elizabeth was sure that Bing was the father of her child, so she decided to do a DNA test to prove that he was the father of her son, Damien Charles Hurley. Interestingly, the test proved that Bing was indeed the father of the child, and this was when the producer decided to pay child support. He offered to pay 100,000 euros every year till the child turned 18 years old. But to his greatest surprise, Elizabeth refused his offer. She claimed that her and her son were doing just fine and that they didn't need his money. She also revealed that she was deeply hurt by the fact that Bing claimed that she had other lovers while they were dating. She also expressed the fact that Damien, her son, was her greatest blessing and that he made her life brighter and more beautiful. When asked the reason why she turned down the offer, she said, "I have always made it perfectly clear to Stephen Bing, the father of my son Damien, that I don't want any financial help from him whatsoever." Ruth Clapton, a blessing in disguise. It all started when Eric Clapton fell madly in love with his best friend's wife. This forbidden love would lead to several events that nobody saw coming. Known as one of the most phenomenal guitarists in rock music, Eric Clapton played in some local bands before forming his own rock and roll band with drummer Ginger Baker. He later released several successful albums and songs in the 1970s, and while all these were happening, he found himself falling for his best friend's wife. Eric Clapton and George Harrison got close in the 60s, and their bond grew every day. The duo spent a lot of time together, writing and recording music. Little did George know that a betrayal was lurking in the background. As time went on, Eric fell deeply in love with his best friend's wife, Pattie Boyd. Interestingly, it was said that he didn't hide how he felt, and he made it clear that he wanted her to himself. In the mid-1970s, it was said that Pattie Boyd divorced her husband and married Eric Clapton. Although this seemed like a dream come true for Eric Clapton, he soon began to do things that didn't reflect how much he claimed to love Pattie Boyd. In the course of their marriage, Clapton's alcohol addiction got the best of him, and he became a shadow of himself. As a result of this, he treated Pattie badly and was said to have been involved in multiple affairs. Sadly, while he was doing all this, he and Pattie were struggling to have children. Despite trying IVF, all their efforts were unsuccessful, and Pattie had several miscarriages. In the early 1980s, Clapton would begin yet another affair, but this time, it led to a pregnancy. The affair began when he was recording Behind the Sun. He met and began a relationship with a lady named Yvonne Kelly, who was the manager of a studio at the time. Shortly after, she got pregnant and had their daughter, Ruth Clapton, in 1985. Because they were both married at the time, they had to keep it a secret from their respective spouses. Pattie Boyd later found out and she was utterly devastated, but despite the damage this did to their union, Clapton didn't stop. He went on to have yet another affair with an Italian model named Lori Del Santo. This affair also led to the birth of yet another love child named Connor. Pattie Boyd would later reveal how she felt when she found out about the affair and the child. She claimed that Clapton expected a different reaction from her. In her words, "Because he loved me, he believed I would be pleased and happy for him that he had a baby. It was as if I was his best friend that he could tell me everything without realizing how deeply painful this was for me." The couple later went their separate ways, and Clapton is said to have maintained a good relationship with his children. Sadly, Connor passed away when he was only 4 years old. Abby Jason, a 52-year-old secret. Many people know Sir David Jason for his portrayal of the unforgettable Derek Del Boy Trotter in the British sitcom Only Fools and Horses, but very few people know about his personal life and the fact that he recently discovered that he fathered a child from a previous relationship. The actor's career has been undoubtedly phenomenal, and he has made a mark in Hollywood through his roles in several films and series. However, Sir David's journey to fame and recognition was not without its surprises, particularly in matters of family. Amidst his illustrious career, which began to take shape in the 1970s, Sir David found himself entwined in a brief but significant relationship with actress Jennifer Hill. Little did he know that this brief relationship would lead to the birth of his child. During this time, as Sir David was still forging his path in the entertainment industry, his personal life intersected with unexpected twists and turns. One such twist came in the form of a love child, Abby Harris, born in 1970 as a result of his relationship with Jennifer Hill. It was said that the actress, Jennifer Hill, didn't tell Sir David that he was the father of the child. He moved on with his life and got into several other relationships. For over 5 decades, the existence of Abby remained a hidden chapter in Sir David's life, unknown to him and his family. It wasn't until the year 2022, a staggering 52 years later, that the truth finally came to light. The revelation of Abby's existence came as a profound shock to Sir David, a moment he described as an understatement to capture the sheer magnitude of the surprise. However, in this unexpected revelation, Sir David and his family responded with grace and warmth. Embracing Abby and her son Charlie, they welcomed them into their lives with open arms, bridging the length of years that had separated them. The joy of newfound connection outweighed any sense of disbelief or astonishment as Sir David expressed his heartfelt sentiments to the Mirror. Before this revelation, Sir David had already experienced the joys of fatherhood in 2001 when his girlfriend Gil Hinchcliffe gave birth to their daughter. Their relationship blossomed further, culminating in marriage in 2005, and they settled in Ellsborough, Buckinghamshire, building a life together. Wyatt Russell, love without bounds. If there is one Hollywood actor who has always been unapologetic about his views and beliefs, it's Kurt Russell. This is why he saw nothing wrong with having a child with his then-girlfriend, Goldie Hawn. Back then, society frowned upon having children out of wedlock, and the fact that Kurt and his girlfriend were both in the limelight at the time got people talking about their private life. Their love story began after Kurt's divorce from Susan Hubley in 1983. Kurt, having starred alongside Goldie in movies like Swing Shift and Overboard, found a deep connection with the actress that went beyond professional chemistry. Their relationship blossomed over the years, despite never walking down the aisle. Kurt and Goldie's relationship was rock solid. In the mid-1980s, their lives changed when Goldie found out that she was pregnant. This new addition changed their lives forever, and their son, Wyatt Russell, was born on July 10, 1986. Despite being born out of wedlock, Wyatt was welcomed into a loving family that transcended traditional norms. Kurt and Goldie's decision not to marry was a conscious one. In a candid interview with People magazine in December 2020, Kurt expressed that they never felt the need for a marriage certificate to validate their relationship. He eloquently stated that a piece of paper wouldn't create anything they didn't already have. As someone who was married before, he believed that he didn't need to get a piece of paper to solidify what he had with Hawn. He believed that what they shared was strong and worth fighting for. Their unconventional yet enduring love story has stood the test of time, as they both worked on growing their careers. Their commitment to each other and their family goes beyond societal expectations, proving that love knows no bounds, not even the bounds of marriage. Interestingly, their son Kurt is following their footsteps and building his career as an actor. Wyatt Russell, born into a family that defied conventional norms, has charted his own unique path in Hollywood, paralleling the non-traditional approach his parents took. From his early days, Wyatt was immersed in an environment that valued personal choice and creative freedom over societal expectations. Initially pursuing a career in hockey, Wyatt played professionally in Europe and North America until injuries led him to retire from the sport. This shift in career paths opened a new door for Wyatt into the acting world, a domain both his parents had excelled in. As an actor, Wyatt Russell has brought a distinct presence to the screen, characterized by an authenticity and charisma that seem to echo his upbringing. His transition from sports to acting wasn't just a change in profession, but a continuation of the storytelling legacy of his family. Wyatt's roles, such as his portrayal of John Walker in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, showcase his ability to navigate complex characters, often imbuing them with a nuanced vulnerability. His performance in this series was particularly lauded for adding depth to a controversial character, reflecting Wyatt's skill in embracing and interpreting challenging roles. This ability to connect with diverse roles speaks to his upbringing in a family that embraced differences and encouraged expression beyond traditional frameworks. Dina Norris, her father's love. Chuck Norris, the well-known actor and screenwriter, grew his career to a point where he became well-respected. However, along the line, he cheated on his wife and fathered a daughter, but he didn't know about his love child until she wrote him a letter in 1991. But before we get into the full story about the affair, let's go back to the very beginning. When Chuck Connors was in high school, he fell in love with his schoolmate, Diane. The pair would later get married when Chuck was 18 years old. Chuck spent the following years building his career until he and his wife welcomed their first son, Mike, in 1962. It seemed like their marriage was thriving, but Chuck's wife had no idea that her husband would cheat on her the following year. Around that time, the actor worked as a martial artist, training several celebrities in Hollywood. He also went on to appear in several films like An Eye for an Eye and Missing in Action. He became famous in the action film genre and garnered a lot of fame as a result of his performances. However, after several years of building a successful career, a secret that he had kept hidden for several years resurfaced. In the early 1960s, while stationed in California with the U.S. Air Force, he got into an affair with a woman named Johanna. It was later revealed that he never told the woman he was married, and by the time she found out, it was too late. Their affair later came to an end, but Chuck had no idea that this chapter of his life was far from being closed. Johanna got pregnant for him and had the baby, but she didn't tell him about the child until he found out years later. In the early 1990s, Chuck was going about his life when he got a shocking letter from a young woman claiming to be his daughter. Despite her mother's persistent warning not to reach out to Chuck, she desperately wanted to have a relationship with her father, so she decided to reach out. Interestingly, Chuck instantly believed her and arranged to meet with her and her mother. Chuck would later reveal that he didn't need a DNA test to confirm that she was his. He embraced her, and they both wept. In his words, "I didn't need DNA or blood tests." He revealed that in that moment, he felt like he had known her all his life. Since then, he has been an active part of her life and has continued to build the bond between them. It is clear that the actor loves his daughter and is now making up for lost time. Giovanni Jackson, Daddy's Girl. Beneath the shimmering surface of Hollywood's golden age, a labyrinth of secrets and scandals lay hidden. Among the glittering stars and cinematic masterpieces, the private lives of Tinseltown's finest were often shrouded in mystery and intrigue. But sometimes the veil would slip, revealing tales so unexpected and controversial, they seemed ripped from the pages of a screenplay. Take, for instance, the luminous Ava Gardner, whose tumultuous love affair with Frank Sinatra captivated the public. Or the legendary Spencer Tracy, whose off-screen life was as complex and compelling as his on-screen performances. These were not isolated incidents, but part of a larger narrative, a tapestry woven with hidden liaisons, secret children, and forbidden love. In this video, we peel back the curtain on Hollywood's most closely guarded secrets, the children born out of the spotlight, away from the prying eyes of the press and the public. From the whispered rumors of clandestine pregnancies to the undeniable truths that emerged years later, these stories reveal a different side of the stars we thought we knew. We'll explore the lives of those who grew up in the shadows of fame, their existences marked by a legacy they had no part in choosing. These are not just tales of scandal and sensation, but of real people searching for identity and belonging in the aftermath of decisions made long before their time. The early days of Hollywood. In the nascent days of Hollywood, a burgeoning film industry began to cast its first shadows on the silver screen, giving rise to a new breed of American royalty, the movie star. This era, marked by the silent film age and the transition to talkies, was a time of innovation, glamour, and boundless possibilities. Yet, beneath its glittering surface, the personal lives of its stars were often mired in complexity and secrecy, particularly when it came to matters of the heart and family. One of the most emblematic figures of this era was Clara Bow, known as the It Girl, who embodied the carefree, vivacious spirit of the Roaring Twenties. Bow's on-screen persona captivated millions, but her off-screen life was fraught with challenges, not least of which were the rumors that swirled around her personal relationships and the children she was rumored to have had out of wedlock. While no concrete evidence exists to confirm these children, the speculation around Bow's private life underscores the intense scrutiny and moral policing faced by female stars of the time. The early Hollywood studio system, with its rigid control over actors' images and personal lives, played a significant role in shaping the narrative around its stars. Studios went to great lengths to craft public personas for their actors that aligned with the moral standards of the day, often at the expense of the stars' true selves. This led to a culture of secrecy and double lives, where stars like Beau were forced to navigate their personal affairs in the shadows, away from the prying eyes of the press and moral watchdogs. The case of Beau is not isolated. Other stars of the era, such as Louise Brooks and Alma Rubens, faced similar challenges. Brooks, known for her iconic role in Pandora's Box, and Rubens, a silent film actress whose career was marred by addiction, both had rumored affairs and children out of wedlock. These stories, often buried beneath layers of studio-manufactured publicity, reveal a pattern of hidden relationships and the lengths to which stars went to maintain their public image. The societal norms of the early 20th century, which stigmatized children born outside of marriage, added another layer of complexity to these situations. The children of these liaisons, if they existed, were often raised in secrecy or given up for adoption, their paternity shrouded in mystery. This practice was not limited to Hollywood, but was reflective of broader societal attitudes towards illegitimacy and the sanctity of the traditional family unit. The impact of these hidden relationships and their resulting offspring rippled through the lives of those involved. For the stars, it meant a constant balancing act between their public personas and private realities, often leading to personal turmoil and, in some cases, the end of careers. For the children, it meant growing up with a secret legacy, their identities shaped by the circumstances of their birth and the societal stigma attached to it. The studio system's secrets. In the golden age of Hollywood, the studio system wielded unparalleled influence over the careers and personal lives of its stars. This era, characterized by its tight control over the public images of actors, also bore witness to one of the most poignant and carefully concealed stories of illicit love and hidden lineage, the story of Loretta Young, Clark Gable, and their daughter, Judy Lewis. Loretta Young, an actress of ethereal beauty and profound talent, was a prominent figure in Hollywood's studio system. Her career spanned from silent films through the golden age of cinema, earning her critical acclaim and a devout following. Clark Gable, known as the King of Hollywood, was the epitome of masculine charm and one of the era's most bankable stars. Their paths crossed professionally on the set of The Call of the Wild in 1935, leading to an affair that would become one of Hollywood's most closely guarded secrets. The affair resulted in Young's pregnancy, a situation fraught with potential scandal that could have ended both actors' careers. In an era when the moral clauses in studio contracts dictated the personal lives of Hollywood stars, Young's pregnancy was a ticking time bomb. With meticulous planning and the complicity of a few trusted individuals, Young disappeared from the public eye, citing illness, while she was, in fact, pregnant. Judy Lewis was born on November 6, 1935, in Venice, California. To protect her and Gable's careers and maintain her public image, Young placed Judy in an orphanage, only to adopt her months later in a well-orchestrated move designed to avoid scandal. This act of subterfuge was a testament to the lengths stars had to go to preserve their standing in the unforgiving Hollywood landscape. Judy grew up unaware of her true parentage, although rumors and whispers followed her throughout her childhood and adolescence. The resemblance to Gable was undeniable, with her ears being a particularly telling feature, leading Young to have Judy undergo surgery to make them less prominent. Despite these measures, the truth about Judy's father remained an open secret in Hollywood, known by many but publicly acknowledged by none. The relationship between Young and her daughter was complex and fraught with unspoken truths. It wasn't until Judy was an adult that Young confirmed her father's identity, a revelation that reshaped Judy's understanding of her own identity and her place in the world. The impact of this secret on Lewis was profound, affecting her sense of self and her relationships with both her mother and the father she never knew. Love affairs in the spotlight. The story of Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini is a tale of passion, art, and scandal that shook the foundations of Hollywood's golden age and challenged the moral compass of the era. Bergman, a Swedish actress renowned for her luminous beauty and profound talent, had captivated American audiences with her performances in films such as Casablanca and Gaslight, for which she won her first Academy Award. Rossellini, an Italian film director, was a leading figure in the neorealism movement, known for his raw and authentic portrayal of post-war Italy. Their union was not just a merging of two cinematic worlds, but also a love affair that defied conventions and sparked international controversy. Their story began in the late 1940s when Bergman, then married to Dr. Petter Lindstrom, wrote a letter to Rossellini expressing her admiration for his work and her desire to make a film with him. This correspondence led to Bergman's starring role in Stromboli, 1950, directed by Rossellini. During the production of the film, their professional relationship blossomed into a romantic affair, a development that would have profound personal and professional repercussions. The affair became public knowledge when Bergman became pregnant with Rossellini's child. In an era when Hollywood's moral code was strictly enforced and the personal lives of its stars were subject to public scrutiny, the revelation of their relationship was scandalous. Bergman, who had been revered as a symbol of grace and virtue, was now vilified in the press, condemned by the public, and even denounced on the floor of the United States Senate for immoral conduct. The birth of their son, Renato Roberto Giusto Giuseppe Rossellini, in 1950, and later the twins Isabella and Ingrid Rossellini, only intensified the scandal. Bergman's marriage to Lindstrom ended in divorce, and she married Rossellini in 1950. However, the damage to her public image was significant. Bergman was forced to leave Hollywood and would not return to the American screen for several years. The relationship between Bergman and Rossellini and the birth of their children marked a significant moment in Hollywood history. It challenged the industry's and society's expectations of female stars, highlighting the double standards applied to women's personal and professional lives. Bergman's career, although temporarily derailed, eventually recovered. She went on to win 2 more Academy Awards, proving that talent could overcome scandal. The children of Bergman and Rossellini grew up in the shadow of this controversy, but carved out their own paths. Isabella Rossellini became a successful actress and model, while Ingrid Rossellini pursued a career in academia. Renato Rossellini, though less in the public eye, also made his mark away from the glare of the scandal that had surrounded his birth. The rock and roll era. The affair between Eddie Fisher and Elizabeth Taylor is one of Hollywood's most notorious scandals, emblematic of the changing social mores and the increasing scrutiny of celebrity personal lives in the post-war era. Fisher, a popular singer, and Taylor, a film star of unparalleled beauty and talent, found themselves at the center of a media storm that would have lasting repercussions on their careers and personal lives, particularly impacting Fisher's family with Debbie Reynolds. Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds were America's sweethearts, their marriage seemingly a fairy tale union of 2 beloved entertainers. They had 2 children, Carrie and Todd Fisher, completing the picture of domestic bliss. However, the stability of their marriage was shattered by Fisher's affair with Elizabeth Taylor, who was then the widow of Fisher's best friend, Mike Todd. The affair not only ended Fisher's marriage to Reynolds, but also ignited a public scandal that dominated headlines and captivated the American public. The impact of the affair on Fisher's children with Reynolds was profound and multifaceted. Carrie Fisher, who would later achieve fame as an actress, writer, and Hollywood icon in her own right, spoke openly about the pain and confusion the scandal caused her as a child. The very public nature of her parents' divorce and her father's subsequent marriage to Taylor placed Carrie and her brother Todd in an unwelcome spotlight, subjecting them to public scrutiny and media speculation at a young age. The affair and its fallout marked a significant moment in the evolution of celebrity culture. It highlighted the growing power of the media to shape public perceptions of stars and underscored the vulnerability of celebrity marriages to public and press intrusion. Fisher's career suffered in the aftermath of the scandal, with his public image tarnished by his role in the breakup of his marriage to Reynolds. Taylor, on the other hand, continued to thrive professionally, her career seemingly impervious to the scandal, though she faced public censure for her role in the affair. The relationship between Fisher and Taylor was short-lived, ending in divorce in 1964. However, the legacy of their affair lingered, affecting the personal dynamics within their blended family for years to come. Carrie Fisher's relationship with her father was strained, a theme she would explore in her writing and interviews, offering insight into the complex nature of familial bonds in the aftermath of public scandal. The Golden Age's hidden stories. Spencer Tracy's career spanned over 3 decades, during which he became one of Hollywood's most respected actors. His on-screen chemistry with Katharine Hepburn, with whom he made 9 films, is legendary. Off-screen, Tracy's life was intensely private, marked by struggles with alcoholism and a complex relationship with Hepburn that was both a profound partnership and a source of endless speculation. Tracy was married to Louise Treadwell, and together they had 2 children, John and Susie. However, his relationship with Hepburn, which began after his marriage, was an open secret in Hollywood. Despite never divorcing Treadwell, Tracy and Hepburn maintained a relationship until his death in 1967. The nature of their relationship, conducted away from the public eye, has been the subject of much discussion, with many admirers and biographers noting the depth of their connection and the sacrifices both made to maintain it. Regarding the speculation surrounding Tracy's private life and the possibility of children born out of wedlock, it's crucial to approach this topic with caution. Unlike other Hollywood figures whose personal lives became public through revelations or acknowledgments, Tracy's story remains shrouded in the privacy he so fiercely protected. There are no confirmed accounts of children born outside his marriage to Treadwell, and much of what is speculated comes from a place of rumor rather than documented fact. The culture of Hollywood's golden age played a significant role in shaping the narratives around its stars. The studio system, with its emphasis on controlling the public images of its actors, often led to a dissonance between the public personas and private lives of its biggest names. Tracy, like many of his contemporaries, navigated this divide, maintaining a level of privacy that has left many aspects of his life open to interpretation and speculation. Scandals behind the silver screen. Ava Gardner and Frank Sinatra's relationship was the stuff of Hollywood legend, a union that combined beauty, talent, and tumult in equal measure. Gardner, known for her stunning looks and formidable acting prowess, and Sinatra, a singer of unparalleled talent whose career was experiencing a downturn when they first became involved, were both massive stars in their own right. Their relationship began in the late 1940s and quickly became one of the most talked-about romances of the era. The pressures facing stars of Hollywood's golden age were immense. The studio system exerted significant control over actors' careers and personal lives, often dictating not just the roles they played, but whom they were seen with and how they conducted their private affairs. For Gardner and Sinatra, this meant their relationship was subject to intense scrutiny, not just from studio heads, but from the public and the press. Rumors of a pregnancy emerged at a time when both Gardner and Sinatra were under considerable public attention. Gardner's marriage to Sinatra, her third and his second, was marked by passionate highs and devastating lows, with both parties' careers and personal demons often clashing. The rumored pregnancy has been a point of speculation for biographers and fans alike, seen as a potential turning point in their tumultuous relationship. However, without concrete evidence or confirmation from Gardner or Sinatra themselves, the story remains part of the larger narrative of their storied romance. The impact of such speculation on Gardner in particular highlights the double standards and gendered expectations placed on women in Hollywood. While male stars often faced less criticism for their romantic entanglements, women were scrutinized and judged more harshly. Gardner, already known for her independent spirit and resistance to the studio system's attempts to control her, would have been acutely aware of the potential fallout from any confirmation of a pregnancy outside of marriage, even within the context of her marriage to Sinatra. Their relationship and the rumored pregnancy must be understood within the context of the time. The early 1950s were a period of transition in Hollywood, with the studio system beginning to decline and the rise of tabloid journalism. The personal lives of stars became fodder for public consumption in a way that had not been seen before, with Gardner and Sinatra among the first to experience the full force of this new celebrity culture. Love, secrecy, and legacy. Leslie Howard's contribution to the golden age of cinema is undeniable. His performances, characterized by a blend of charisma and elegance, left an indelible mark on Hollywood and the international film community. However, Howard's life off-screen was as compelling as his on-screen personas, marked by his involvement in the political and social upheavals of his time, including rumored activities in espionage during World War II. His untimely death in 1943, when the plane he was traveling in was shot down by German forces, added a layer of intrigue and tragedy to his legacy. Ronald Howard, born in 1918, was Leslie Howard's only son with his wife, Ruth Evelyn Martin. Growing up as the son of one of the era's most celebrated actors, Ronald faced the immense challenge of forging his path in the shadow of a towering figure. The expectations set by Leslie Howard's success and the public's fascination with his life and mysterious death were formidable pressures for Ronald. Ronald Howard pursued an acting career, appearing in numerous films and television shows from the 1940s through the 1970s. Perhaps his most notable role was as Sherlock Holmes in the 1954 television series Sherlock Holmes, where he brought the iconic detective to life with a performance that echoed the charm and intelligence his father was known for. Despite this and other successes, Ronald's career did not reach the same heights as his father's, a fact that highlights the difficulties of living up to a legendary legacy. The challenges Ronald faced were not just professional, but personal. Growing up in the aftermath of his father's death, with the accompanying speculation and intrigue surrounding Leslie Howard's wartime activities, Ronald had to navigate a world that was forever changed by loss. The public's enduring interest in Leslie Howard meant that Ronald's achievements were often viewed through the lens of his father's legacy, a comparison that can overshadow individual accomplishments. The new Hollywood movement. Arnold Schwarzenegger's journey from Mr. Universe to Hollywood megastar and then to the governor of California is a tale of ambition, discipline, and unparalleled public success. However, in 2011, a personal revelation emerged that presented a starkly different narrative, one that highlighted the vulnerabilities even the most controlled public figures face. The disclosure of Schwarzenegger's paternity of Joseph Baena, born to the family's housekeeper, Mildred Patricia "Patty" Baena, was a moment of profound personal and public reckoning for Schwarzenegger. The revelation came at a time when Schwarzenegger's public image was that of a successful action hero, a dedicated public servant, and a family man. Married to Maria Shriver, a journalist and member of the Kennedy family, Schwarzenegger's personal life was as much a part of his public persona as his professional achievements. The news of his affair and the existence of a son born out of wedlock was a jarring departure from the narrative that had been carefully curated over decades. Joseph Baena's birth in 1997 and the subsequent revelation of his paternity more than a decade later brought to light the complex realities behind Schwarzenegger's public facade. The affair and the secrecy surrounding Joseph's paternity caused a significant media storm, leading to Schwarzenegger and Shriver's separation. This personal crisis unfolded in the public eye, offering a glimpse into the challenges faced by those living under the scrutiny of public attention. For Joseph Baena, the revelation of his paternity was a life-altering moment. Growing up, Baena's resemblance to Schwarzenegger was noticeable, yet the truth of his lineage was not publicly acknowledged until Schwarzenegger's term as governor was coming to an end. The public disclosure thrust Baena into the spotlight, a position that comes with its own set of challenges and opportunities. Despite the initial controversy, Schwarzenegger took responsibility for his actions and has since been an active part of Baena's life. Baena has navigated his path with a notable grace, pursuing his education and showing a keen interest in bodybuilding, echoing his father's own beginnings. His relationship with Schwarzenegger has grown stronger over the years, with the two often seen sharing moments of their lives on social media, from gym workouts to celebrating graduations.